Welcome to episode 114 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. Tonight we are joined by Megan again. I'm not even gonna do your last name. I'll wait till later. I'll do it at some point. I will.
One of these days he's gonna get it.
I'm not gonna.
One day.
I refuse to at this point.
One day.
It's just not useful. Katie couldn't make it tonight, so Megan is filling in. Our guest is running a little late. We were a little late getting everything to them, but they will be here soon. But we can go ahead and get started. And welcome to anybody that is watching us currently live. We'll do our sponsors real quick. If you're looking for it, since Katie's not here, I'm gonna butcher this one. If you're looking for high quality PVC rack, look no further than Lone Star Reptile Racks. You can get your something with somethings, and you can get racks and cages. Call Robert at lsreptileracks.com. You can find them on there. You can get racks and cages. You can get them picked up at a show. The next Herp show is Lafayette.
Yes, June. It's a month from now.
A month from now in Lafayette. So
June 4th and 5th.
Oh, I was say I had that pulled up, so I was gonna be ready for that one too. But yes, you can pick up there. Then I can go through that real quick. We got Lafayette June 4th and 5th. Conroe, that's the big one, June 11th and 12th. If you've never been to a Herp show, that's the one to come to.
Yep.
Longview, June 25th and 26th. You won't be at Longview, or will you?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Slidell, that's the other big one. If you are east of us, come to Slidell. That is July 23rd and 24th. That's the summer. I can come to that one. Super excited. Oklahoma City, if you're way up north there. I say way up north as relative to Texas. If you're way up north relative to Texas, July 30th and 31st is Oklahoma City. Corpus Christi is August 13th and 14th. Bryan College Station is August 20th and 21st. Then we're back in Austin, August 27th and 28th. And at that point, I'm also back to teaching. So I don't think I look forward to looking at these calendars anymore, because I get out in 4 weeks. I don't want to look at the 2.5 months when I'm back teaching again. So come check us out at a Herbst Reptile show. You can also check out the Herbst Reptile shop. If you're in where the fuck does JT live? Robert. JT lives where?
San Antonio?
No, not the JT. Other JT. I know there's too many JTs. John Grant.
Oklahoma?
Yeah, but where?
The store is in Sapulpa.
Yeah, that place.
Or Sand Springs.
That place. If you're in that area, I know there's some racks currently there. So go check out Grant Family Exotics in Sand Springs, Oklahoma.
It's outside of Tulsa.
Yeah, it's right around Tulsa. I've seen it on a map. I know it's near Tulsa. But check out the Grants. Go by and check them out. See their what are the why can't I not remember their mammals they have?
It's at 25 West 41st Street in Sand Springs, Oklahoma.
Yeah, and Bumfuck, Oklahoma. I mean, it's not as bumfuck as like where he lives.
What's crazy is Rachel has family members who live in Sand Springs, Oklahoma.
And Bumfuck, Oklahoma. Although I think all of Oklahoma is Bumfuck,
I was
Oklahoma.
gonna say that makes up the majority of the state.
There's Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and then there's the rest of Oklahoma. Yeah. So, but go check out the Grants. They have some of the Lone Star Reptile racks up there. You can get them if you're nearby. That way you don't have to wait for a show. Go see our friends over at Wiregrass Exotics in Ozark, Alabama, if you want to get some feeders and check out some awesome snakes and talk to some great people between Dallas and Amanda Rua over at Wiregrass Exotics.
They actually have a venomous training class coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
With, through the Rattlesnake Conservancy.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I'll have to double check the dates and I can post them. But
yeah, so
in the area,
if you're on Facebook, check out Wiregrass Exotics on Facebook. Shoot them a message. Dallas and Amanda Rua, they would love to have you come out there, be a part of that. That'd be really neat to do. Yeah, I got everybody. I even got JT in on this one, so I got everybody, all of our sponsors in. Feels weird we didn't have a show this weekend, so I can't be like, hey,
I didn't know what to do with myself.
I know it was awkward.
It was weird.
We did go on a cool herping trip, all three of us.
we did. I felt like I was hit by a truck the next day.
Oh, I'm still fucking sore. I woke up the next day and didn't realize that I'm old now. I realize that now.
When I was walking back to the truck, I was like, I'm gonna feel this tomorrow.
It was
my foot's finally better because this was after you missed this part. This was towards the second half of the herping trip. I tripped in a hole.
She fell into
you
a
told
hole.
me about it.
I tripped in a hole and I bruised my foot. It's finally feeling better now.
We went to Rio
Brazos Bend.
I'm confused because there's a Rio Bravo road in this neighborhood, and then I live on Rio Brazos. And we went to Brazos Bend State Park.
Yes.
It's the first time going there. It's a big state park.
Was that really your first time?
That's my first time going there.
Oh, I love Brazos.
I also haven't been to Crocodile Counter, so throw that out there
There's,
again.
Like I mean, we only saw like a fraction of it. There's
Oh, I know. It
so
took
many
us
trails.
It took us forever to get from the front gate to the parking lot that we went to.
That one's not even my favorite trail either.
I wanna go-
Next time I go out there, I will take you guys to my favorite trail.
I want to go fish. There's some oxbows out there. You know what an oxbow is?
I don't know what that is.
So there's a river that runs through there.
Uh-huh.
At some point, that river ran a different path. But
Mhm.
then over time, land is filled in, and that part of the river has become basically a small little pond or a lake, and the river is now flowing somewhere else.
Mhm.
So if you look on a map, you can always tell an oxbow because it looks like the bend in a river, but it's not connected to
Okay.
a river. So there's two of them out there. The great thing about them is
Okay.
they usually are very slow moving water. If no moving
Mhm.
water, they get pretty stagnant, which means they tend to fill up with bowfin, which are my favorite fish to catch.
Okay.
Which I saw one at the state park, and then when Robert was on his way back, found out that people caught one at that same dock where I'd seen one.
See, I wouldn't know that because I think the last time I fished, I was 12.
That's sad. That is sad. You know what? I found out an amazing thing is that you don't have to have a fishing license to fish at a state park.
Really?
Yeah, so we can go there and go fishing. I can take you fishing for the first time since you were 12.
That is surprising.
Yeah, I would have figured the state wanted to get their money no matter what. But no, you can fish without a license at a state park.
It's their way of not losing much by way of license revenue, but still getting people
Yeah.
interested in fishing.
So it's cool. We can go out there, and they have those great piers that you can fish from. So we walked by.
Everyone has an alligator.
Everyone has
waiting
an
on you to
alligator.
reel a fish in.
That is true. You have to reel in fast. So we went out there with the group. It was the Southeast Louisiana. No, wow, I'm in the wrong state.
Southeast
Texas. Wow.
I mean, you're close.
It's
but-
one state over. Southeast Texas Snake ID group,
Mhm.
right? That's who we went with. We saw some stuff. I didn't catch a bunch of stuff because it got away from me. The first snake I saw was a cottonmouth, really pretty cottonmouth in the grass, and then we all tried to get it, and none of us could get it.
It was laughing at us. Honestly, it was probably like on the other side at that point, just laughing at us. As
There were four
everyone's
of us
digging
standing
for
within
it.
3 feet of each other of where the snake was, and we could not find it. But I mean, it was like 2 foot tall grass. If I would not have had my
Yeah.
snake boots on, I would not have wandered into the grass.
the
Although I
brush is
turned back.
So, I mean, it's so tangled through there.
Well, I got farther ahead and I turned back to look at the spot where I just lost the cottonmouth in the grass where I would not have gone if I didn't have snake boots. And who's standing there? Megan.
yes,
and
I
not
was.
s- and
I
not
was
snake
looking.
boots.
I was looking for it.
In not snake boots.
Not snake boots, but
Knowing
hiking
there was
boots.
knowing there's a venomous snake right there.
There's plenty of. I was wearing plenty of protection.
It would have been much easier had the snake chased us.
I would have been more worried about stepping on it, but I was fine. I was wearing hiking boots.
So I saw that, and then we went up a little ways, and I saw a really pretty pair of broadband water snakes. They were sitting in a hog wallow where wild hogs had gone through and tore up along the creek bank there. And then as soon as they saw us, they hopped right in the water and took off.
That's been my entire experience with broadband water snakes.
Mhm.
There's a couple that live. There's a creek that runs behind my neighborhood, and I'll go back there sometimes and walk and just see if I can find anything. And every once in a while, I will see this massive broadband water, biggest one I've ever seen. I mean, it's still relatively small, but he lives back there. And every time I see him, he sees me first and ducks beneath the water. And
They're fast.
Yeah.
I've only ever caught them when we went road cruising in the middle of the road. And then we had that one baby that could like levitate as
Yeah.
it tried to strike us. It would come all the way off the ground.
It was an angry little broadband. Like it would strike and it would the whole body would just fly off the ground.
Yeah.
He was pretty though.
Sounds about right. I picked up a plain bellied water snake once that, I mean, he got some serious air flailing around in this woman's garage. Like probably was.
You gotta
jumping
talk into the
a few
microphone.
feet. I thought I was talking into the microphone.
Into the
Sorry, guys. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. But he was just like flailing all over the place, and it was like a literal fish out of water. Makes for good entertainment.
I found broadbands come in 2 colors. They come in really pretty and shit. Those are the only 2 colors they come in.
That's a fact.
There's no in between on those guys.
I feel like that's water snakes in general.
No, some of them just
honestly.
come in shit.
Yeah.
Well, and then we went again Sunday night with a
Well-
friend of ours.
I was going to say some other things that we found.
Oh yeah.
I didn't find it, but I'm counting it as a lifer. There was a rough green snake up in a tree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the girl saw it because the tree was green. It was green, but sure enough, she turned over and there it was in the tree. She grabbed it. We saw a little decay snake. We saw about 70 million alligators and some big ones too.
We got stalked by a raccoon.
That is true. So we looked ahead. We were walking on the path and there was a raccoon and I walked off to the side and we kept walking. And then we looked over to the side, and it keeps following us along the water's edge. And then we saw the beginnings of what was going to be a great thing, and it did not happen. And I would have loved every minute of it. We saw this big ass alligator. You could just tell from the eye shine how far apart the eyes were.
He was big.
It was big.
Gina's commenting.
There is Gina. She is commenting. Now we just got to have her join video wise. Oh shit.
Oh, Lanie has
Oh,
seizures.
shit.
Lanie has seizures.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
They suck, but it's normal.
Are you friends with Gina on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Can you send her the link?
Yeah.
So we, as the raccoon was following us along the water's edge, we got ahead of it and we saw this big alligator, probably 15 feet off the water's edge. And as soon as the raccoon passed in front of it, that alligator began to swim straight towards it as if it was going to grab it. And unfortunately, the raccoon was faster and it moved a little faster. But I was about to see National Geographic happen right in front of me, and I was going to be so excited. It did not happen. We saw a bunch of bullfrogs, green tree frogs, and leopard frogs. Some really pretty leopard frogs out there. And I think that was it.
Yeah.
I was surprised. It was a very, I'm going to have to go out there again. It's a very great place. You can see why there would be a lot of snakes out there.
Yes.
I think we just hit it at the wrong time. If we'd gotten maybe a little bit of rain, we haven't had a pretty good rain in a while. If we'd got a little bit of rain, I think that would have helped. And then you're right. Sunday night, we went out.
Well, while we were out there Saturday, my friend is constantly sending me pictures where he's at an hour away of Caligaster, of
Great Plains.
No, Prairie King.
Oh, Prairie Kings. That's right. Prairie Kings.
And
Where was he at?
west of here.
I didn't know if he was like a specific park or.
No.
Damn.
He was west of here.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
He was sending me pictures of those. He found
Couple cottonmouths.
a couple cottonmouths.
The ringneck. You found that ringneck.
Found a
snake.
Mississippi ringneck while he was out there.
That was a pretty little snake.
So we went with him Sunday night,
And we were the bad juju.
and we found 2 cottonmouths and 2 rat snakes.
I don't know. I might have been the bad juju because I feel like I'm probably the worst like
She was
herper in the world. And I don't know if it's just because I'm not good at it or if it's just because I have bad juju.
James said you walk too fast.
You do walk too fast.
I was walking so.
Your friend even said you walk
Your
too
friend
fast.
said you're walking too fast.
Okay, Danny's short. We don't care about her opinion.
By the way, I sexed all those Slowinskis.
Mhm.
I have 3 males and 1 female left.
So I think your problem is you're too used to people calling you and telling you there's a snake on the sidewalk, and that's where it is when you get there. And
No,
we were in
I
a place
was
where the snakes were going to be on the sides.
I was walking so
You were like
slow.
Oprah. You
I
remember
was
Oprah did that
walking-
speed walking? That was you.
I was walking painfully slow. If I walked any slower,
You may have seen snakes
I saw lots of frogs.
because they move quickly, but the snakes would have been on the sides.
Okay. I was walking so fucking slow. It was painful, literally, because my feet hurt.
Yeah, I'm still in pain. All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring in our guest. I'll click on here. Megan, you want to go ahead and introduce our guest?
Yeah. So we've got Gina from Gina's Heart of Gold Reptile Rescue here in Houston. Hey, Gina.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Hi.
How are you?
This is my first podcast ever, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So,
Is it really?
Neither do we.
Yes.
This is our 114th, and we don't. So
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Yay!
I'm going to have to get Dominique to interview you for her podcast.
definitely.
okay.
yeah, that'll be a good one.
My friend Dominique, she runs the female herpers group on Facebook. I don't know if you're actually in that one or not,
I
but
have no idea what.
I'll get you guys connected because
Okay,
you
sounds
would you'd be great for her podcast.
So, Gina,
Yes.
what do you do?
I'm actually a high school teacher. I've taught biology, environmental science, and aquatic science, but my main thing that I love to do is reptile rescue.
I'm a high school biology teacher. I'm sorry.
Awesome.
Just in
Which means you're
case-
dealing with state testing right now.
Yeah, of course. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I give mine tomorrow. I'm ready to get it. over with.
Our biology was yesterday.
I
No, it was today. Today.
I had to give an algebra 1 state test today. Talk about boring. 1, I hate math. 2, it was all on the computer. Bored out of my mind for 4 hours. And then tomorrow I unfortunately tomorrow get to read the state test, the biology test to kids. It's a read aloud for mine, which is weird. I come from Louisiana where we're not allowed to give our own test because you will cheat if you can give your own test. Not that I will cheat, but it is definitely a possibility. And so tomorrow I get to at least know all the questions.
I think wasn't it Houston ISD that was like busted in a massive cheating scandal a few years ago?
I'm sure it's if you're giving your own test, it's super easy to cheat.
We don't give our own kids our tests. It's all alphabetical. The kids are grouped, and then you get stuck in a testing room.
Nope. I
might not even know the kids.
I only know one of the kids in the room, but I will be reading I'm a biology teacher reading the biology test to kids. I'm like, man, if I wanted to cheat, I could totally
At least
do it.
You know how to pronounce all the words.
That is true. That is true. I actually had to read a thing telling me what I'm not allowed to tell them, like on graphs and charts. I'm like, you're not allowed to say this. I was like, okay, good. And at least I know now what I'm not allowed to say. But anyways, away from the teaching because it's almost summer. I'm done thinking about teaching. So, how long have you ran a rescue?
Oh gosh, over 20 years.
Ooh, that's a long time of a lot of sick reptiles, I'm sure.
Well, I used to do a lot of mammals, and I did a lot of wildlife. I've done possums, raccoons, mice, squirrels, rabbits, bats, armadillos, just about anything.
Took care of one baby squirrel. So when I worked at the zoo, they would not let me. Everyone kept taking home mammals to take care of. Like the people would bring in stuff, and you get to take home babies if we had babies and like raise them. And I was finally like, why don't I get to take anything home? Like, well, you're the reptile keeper. We figured you didn't want any of the fuzzy stuff. It's like I want fuzzy stuff. So they gave me a baby possum.
Oh.
Fucking love that thing. It was adorable. It ate bananas. We named it Banana. It was great.
So jealous.
But what they didn't tell me was, most of them die.
Yeah.
I was like, you could have given me that heads up before I got attached to this thing, and it died 2 weeks after I had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, we lose most of them. Fuck, can you not give me the shit that's gonna die the first time?
What was it? A baby?
I really haven't lost much.
I lost that when I was.
Was it a baby?
Oh, it was a baby.
Babies are hard
Because you have to like take a wet washcloth and rub. It's an awkward thing to have to do over and over. Yeah. So,
but I want to get my rehab license eventually, but I will not be doing mammals or baby mammals. Can't do it. I get too attached.
Yeah, I got attached to this one.
You learn really quickly when you've got 16 squirrels and you're feeding them. And when you're still potting them, you have a lot of interaction with them. But as soon as they're potting themselves, you're completely hands off.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't understand, what you have to do is you have to take, I guess you could technically lick them, but that would be very
Mama would
awkward.
lick them.
Please don't
doing that.
Don't lick wild mammals. But you have to take a wet washcloth and rub them in certain areas to trigger them to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I've done I've taken care of bottle baby like kittens before. You have to do the same thing, like help them
Did you lick the kittens?
I did not lick the kittens. No,
are messy, really messy. Squirrels.
Oh my god, they are. They're terrible.
Tickle the squirrel with the end of a Kleenex, and everything's nice and clean. And even when they poo, everything's, it's pretty easy. But kittens, they're a disaster.
Oh, they're into everything, and they drag everything around.
Well, that falls right into my what I've always said is cats suck, and no one should have them.
Okay. No, well, I love them, but they do suck. But I love them, but they suck.
Yeah, I've had 6 babies at one time that I took to school, the high school, and the kids would just meet me there before school, and the kids would fight over who got to feed them, and then they'd be there at lunchtime, they'd be there after school, and then I just had to do the 2-night feedings. It was wonderful.
So child labor laws were broken. Got it.
Yeah, it's not child labor when
it's education.
It's child love laws. It's child love.
It's not child labor when it's at a school and we call it education.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Got it. Now that I know.
Well, I mean, when you get your thing done, you're probably gonna have kids helping you.
That is true. I'm gonna build a small reptile zoo at our school next year, and I'm gonna have kids take care of it so that I don't have to take care of it.
Have further conversations with the school happened about this yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I just got to write up some procedures and protocol stuff to show them. Look, this is the procedures and protocols. But yeah, they're all on board.
Sweet. That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun. But I always had snakes that escaped all the time because the kids didn't shut the cages.
I'm going to get cages built by a professional cage maker, Robert over here, and I'll have locks on everything. I'll have locks on cages, and they go inside of a locked room, inside of my locked room. So you definitely can't get to them unless you are.
Oh, it's attached to your room.
Yeah, it looks like a closet behind my desk. But when you open it, it opens up, and there's windows that face the hallway.
Nice.
That's exciting.
And it's got a big like tub sink in there, and I'll be able to put like a small fridge or a small freezer to keep like frozen rodents and greens and stuff in there. So
nice.
Yeah. So looking forward to that.
Swanky ass.
It's going to be awesome. So
Yeah, that's pretty.
as long as they don't fire me, we're good.
We'll cross my fingers that they don't fire you.
They won't fire me because I'm gonna
I
have
hope
test
not.
scores. I told all my kids, I said, I need you to score high on the test. I said, not for the fact that you need to pass it, but I need to be able to face every other teacher in the district and go, nanny boo boo, I'm better than you. That's all I need. That's why I need high test scores. It's not so I don't care about the kids. I care about me. I'm the important thing.
Oh, for sure.
Our one person says, are you not worried about the kids messing with your animals? I won't be. They'll be locked up. And if they're in there with them, I'll be in there with them. Or another adult. I do plan on training probably 2 other teachers to be able to take care of it. On the odd occasion, I'm not there. But I haven't had snakes in my room in a while. But when I did, they were always locked. Everything was always locked.
Yeah, mine was years ago, and we didn't have locked cages, but I'll tell you, the kids just loved it.
Yeah.
It's so cute to see these gangster wannabe kids coming in at lunchtime, putting a snake around their neck while they eat lunch. And I would never dare tell them that it was so cute that they did that, because they wanted to look macho, but it was cute.
I always love when I bring in like corn snakes, and the tough kids always want to run for the door when I take them out of the tub, or they always talk about how big it is. I'm like, it's a 3-foot corn snake. Shut up.
See, we had one class pet when I was in high school.
Did Pet Rock?
It was my second high school. I went to several high schools. So it was my second high school.
You were kicked out of several high schools?
No, I was an Army brat. I was forced to move 3 times during high school.
Air Force.
See, there you go.
See, look at my parents.
Birds of a feather.
My parents got out of the Air Force right before I was born, and so we were stayed at one base. They were doing a contract.
My dad went in after my brother was born, and then we didn't stop moving until he retired.
I went to the same school from kindergarten to graduation.
I have no idea what that's like.
All 13 years. Like going to a new school is so foreign to me. Like when I went to college, I'm like, who are these people?
I went to 13 different schools.
Wow.
That sounds like what I did. Yep.
Talking from like elementary all the way up?
From like kindergarten to my senior year of high school. I went
but that's not 13 different school districts, just 13 different schools.
13 different schools in like 7 different states.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But in one of my second high school, we had a class snake in one of my science classes. It was a ball python. Before I knew anything about reptiles, and I thought I was just so damn cool because I was the only kid in the class who wasn't freaked out by this animal.
So it was a pet rock. I was right.
Okay, well, you weren't wrong. Shut up, James. And so I would take him out during class, and like everyone else would be all freaked out. And I'm over here like hanging out with the snake. Now I'm just like, it was a ball python, but he was super cute.
I just did the math. I've gone to 8 different schools. And still, Robert's only gone to one. I've gone to 8 different schools in.
Well, it was 5 different, buildings, but it was the same school district.
That doesn't count.
Mine is 2 different states, 2 different countries.
They were all on the same road.
Only one country. We got taken off of overseas orders after 9/11 happened, but yeah,
I was already a grown-ass adult when 9/11 happened.
Okay, well, listen, old man.
I was 21 when 9/11 happened.
I was not 21 when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, 13 schools, 7 states, well over I'm close to 30 at this point in terms of homes and apartments that I've lived in. So my husband, if he wants me to go anywhere at this point, he will have to drag me kicking and screaming.
So I've lived a lot of places. From the time I graduated until probably here, I've never lived anywhere in a house for more than maybe a year.
Yeah.
I've been in this house 5 years now.
So you sort of understand what it's like then, because I'm programmed. I told my husband I was programmed every year we were going to have to move to a new apartment until we bought a house.
You need some reprogramming.
And that's exactly what we did. Now we're in a house, so we haven't gone anywhere in 3 years.
I used
That's
to.
a good thing. That's
yeah.
I was real restless when I was young. Just didn't want to put down. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I just know I didn't want to get married or have kids.
How'd that go?
Well, I've been married twice.
Seems like it worked out.
Right.
All right. So back to the reptile rescue.
So you also, first off, just in case she tries to kind of be a little modest here, Gina's a freaking badass.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, she's so hardcore and freaking awesome. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But you also do, I don't know if you're actively doing any work with them, but you have done work with Texas Wildlife Rehabilitation Coalition.
I am their only reptile rehabber. Yes.
Okay.
I used to work in their vet room twice a week. I was in charge. I was the vet person in charge of the room twice a week. And so I made all the decisions. I dispensed all the medicines. I did all the injections, the wound cleaning. I was in charge 2 nights a week for a couple of years ago. But then I got so many reptiles that was just taking too much of my time. But yeah, I do all their reptiles. I used to be in charge of their education program. And then they got in, that was, a bunch of years ago. I also work with the SPCA, BARC, CAPS, Humane Society, and taking in animals. Some of the pet stores, I take in their animals that either get dumped there or get, they have them that were purchased and there's something wrong with them. And so they'll give me their geckos, or I just took in a chameleon with a broken leg that the person who bought it brought it back. I'm sure they broke its leg trying to pry it off a branch.
Yeah.
So we just got that in as well.
How many have you gotten this year? Because I know you got quite a few. Well, you got quite a few bearded dragons. That's kind of a given in reptile rescue because they're like one of the top reptiles that wind up getting dumped. But how many have you taken in this year so far?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you that. I'll tell you, with COVID, though, I probably got in 60 animals at the beginning of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have other fosters of people that will take things. Like I had a person that took all the crusteds. I have one person that takes all the chameleons, so there are certain people that'll take things so that I don't get overwhelmed. And then as soon as our stimulus check came in, people bought a lot, or adopted a lot of reptiles. And then the second stimulus check, there was another influx of people wanting to adopt. But then when those got cut off and the rent forgiveness stopped, then a bunch of them came back in. And then lately it's just been steady. I've probably got 5 bearded dragons in the last 5 days, and I have 3 more people that want to bring them in.
So I'm assuming bearded dragons are probably your number one.
I had
surrendered.
19 there for a bit, and that didn't even include the 8 babies I had.
Lord.
And I don't breed. I don't breed. I might have females that are the same size that are both healthy in a big tank, but all the males are separated. Males and females don't go together. It's just, I don't want babies. I mean, are you kidding? I can barely handle all the adults and everything. Can you imagine when I got the group of 8 babies from somebody, they couldn't take care of them and they were attacking each other, and I'm down to just one of them left, and they all got good homes. So
is that part of the clutch that Danny adopted, with the missing foot? Was that the same?
No, that was an earlier adoption.
Okay.
That was 3.
Okay.
3 dragons. Yeah,
that one came so
in,
good.
That one came in with a dried up crust of a foot.
Ugh.
And I know from experience that it was dried up. It was just going to fall off, but it just took a while. And that guy had a lot of pep. So
he has some personality. That's the way I'll put it. He looks really good though. He really does. He's gotten so big.
Lanie's husband messaged me and said she definitely won't be on this evening.
Okay.
She sent me a couple messages that didn't really make sense, and I kind of
that was probably
so he
the start
messaged
of
me.
it,
I was like, "Hey, just ignore those."
Yeah.
But he said she's super upset because she was looking forward to this so much.
So for anybody listening, do you want to explain who Lanie is? So
Oh, yeah. So Eleniana Grossenheider, if any of y'all follow like the Houston groups, you'll know she's one of the admins for.
If you're into reptiles in Houston, you know who Lanie is.
Yeah. You know who Lanie is if you're into reptiles in Houston. She runs the Houston Reptiles group. She helps volunteer with Gina's rescue. And from what Lanie's told me, you're basically like a mother to her. So yeah, she's super active in the reptile community. She breeds geckos also. On occasion she sometimes works on some gecko projects, leechies and crusteds.
Okay, That way, y'all can say her name. And I was like, we should probably tell folks who she is.
Yeah.
Lanie's a badass too. I've watched Lanie wrestle big ass retics like
Lanie is awesome.
fear.
no fear.
No, absolutely not. Of animals, of people, absolutely nothing.
You remember about maybe a year and a half ago, Gina, all those retics that came in
Yes, I do.
and they were not happy retics, and Lanie's just like, get out.
That
Like,
was
freaking striking her, and she's like, just calm down.
that was about the time that she and I actually met for the first time. I had actually messaged Gina's page because somebody had commented somewhere saying that you guys had a carpet python, and I was interested in said carpet python. So I messaged the page just to see like what snakes you guys had. And it turned out I'm like practically Italian. I talk with my hands.
You can talk with them, just don't hit the table. It just sounds like a heartbeater the whole time.
And so I messaged and Lanie responded, and it turned out she had a gorgeous normal bull snake. And
Is that how you ended up with your bull snake?
that's how I ended up with my bull snake. And we hit
You're
it
the
off
one
right
that ended
away.
up with that bull snake.
I'm the one that ended up with that bull snake.
I was supposed to get that bull snake. She had
Fuck you, Megan.
No. She held it for me for like 2 months, and I
Did
never
she
could get
really?
over there. And finally, she messaged me. She's like, "Hey, I have someone else that wants this bull snake." I'm like, "Let him have it."
That was me.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And,
All right.
and now it's a few miles that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had actually started asking questions because Danny wanted a bull snake, and so when I found out she had a bull snake, I was like, "Oh, well, let me ask some questions."
And then you said, "No, I'm going to keep this bull snake for myself."
Well, then Lanie sent me the pictures, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Hey,
Got
Danny,
it. So
love you, but
so
sorry."
you stole it from Robert, and then you stole it from your friend.
I did, yes.
Got it. You're a whole person. As long as we all know that.
I have no regrets. Dexter is amazing.
No
I love
regrets.
him. No regrets. I love
One
him.
letter.
So, Gina, you've been doing this for about 20 years. Have you been doing reptiles the whole time?
I've been doing reptiles the whole time, but I did a lot of mammals for probably the first 10 years.
Well, I wonder if, because we all know that now that bearded dragons are one of the most surrendered ones and rescued. But were you doing reptiles when it was iguanas?
Oh, God, I had 26 non-baby iguanas at one time.
Fuck that.
Holy cow.
My entire backyard was just wire cages everywhere. And
Just pissed off iguanas.
You had some when
my
we first
arms
met.
are completely scarred up. It looks like cat bites or, I don't know, razor blade scratches. But no, it's iguana claws. And I used to have no fear on those guys. Yeah, I've taken in iguanas that bit the owner 60 stitches in the arm.
Oh.
Worked with them, and that became one of my best education iguanas ever. But I don't think I quite have the same, I don't know, guts working with a pissy iguana now.
Mm-mm. I mean, that juvenile, well, she's sort of a juvenile iguana. We don't know exactly how old she is, but that one that I was fostering, I'm fine with one of that size. She was probably like 2.5 feet from nose to tail, but you couldn't pay me enough to work with an adult iguana. That's not happening.
75% of iguanas suck.
Yeah, no, that's not
Because
happening.
I've always said 1 in 4 iguanas are
Green
nice.
iguanas.
Green iguanas.
Yeah,
Green iguanas.
green iguanas specifically.
Because like
Yeah.
I've been around several pectinatas, and they've always been
No.
Pretty cool.
Like all the other ones tend to be pretty good. It's
Yeah.
green iguanas.
I have two of the best rhinoceros iguana females, adults. They're just the sweetest things.
Really?
They're gorgeous.
I open up the cage to give them food, and instead of me I put the big plate of lettuce and veggies and fruits down in front of them, and they won't even go to the food bowl. They'll arch their back and put their head down. They want me to pet them first.
That's funny. Yeah, green iguanas don't do that. Green iguanas,
No.
green iguanas, you walk to the cage and they just start freaking the fuck out and running all over the place.
Yes, with Roxy,
They puff up.
Yeah, with Roxy, you could not make eye contact. If you made eye contact, all hell was about to break loose. So I learned that lesson like the very first day that I had her. I went up to say hi, and that ended badly.
So
I didn't have any problems. Any of the iguanas I got them calmed down. So it's just, I don't know if I'm part iguana or I can read their body language. But
she was fine when I got her out. And in the tub, whenever we did our little swims, she was completely fine. But I had to take her out to feed her because she would lose her freaking mind. And I'm like, I'm literally just trying to keep you alive.
So working as a rescue, it's kind of the same as when you go to a pound. If you go to a pound, you can always tell what dog is the most common dog in right now. Because I remember growing up, at one point it was chows. There were so many different chow mixes you'd see in a pound, and then at one point it was labs. Everything was black lab, and now everything is pit mix. Everything, so you can always get a flow for what's going on. So I assume working at a rescue, you always have an idea of what's happening in the hobby. What animals are the most popular in the hobby? Because that's what you probably have the most of at any time. And you've seen that change.
Leopard geckos, and ball pythons are the ones I have the most of right now.
That's such a shame.
I have 19 leopard geckos.
God,
10 males.
And it's probably, as far as the ball pythons, is it pretty much just normals that you're getting?
I have a couple of ones that aren't normal. Like I have
fancy ball pythons.
Yeah, I get them in on occasion. So right now I have a kingpin female. I have a really pretty pastel female. And then I have an young albino male. So those are the only ones. But the albino male was actually a trade for an adult female ball python. I mean, a bearded dragon. The lady who got this ball python was terrified of it. She said it struck at her. It's just a baby. It fits in the palm of your hand. And so I was at a show, and I said, okay, I'll trade you. I don't care. And she loved the bearded dragon. She brings the 20-gallon tank it was in. There's still a dead mouse in there because she didn't want to put her hand in there. So I reach in, pick up the snake. It was like, okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with the snake. It's fine. It eats. It's just more afraid.
That's what happens. It's first time snake owners who have no idea what to expect. And so the normal things that happen freak them out.
Yep.
Because they're so used to dogs and cats. I'm like, these aren't dogs and cats. These aren't. Yep. These have not been around humans for the last 200,000 years. Like, so calm down.
Even if you do get bit by a ball python, it's soap and water and a Band-Aid. A cat can put you in the hospital for 6 weeks on antibiotics. Yep. Even your own cat bite. But a ball python, soap and water and a Band-Aid.
I've been bitten by dogs, cats, rodents, rabbits, and snakes, and I will take a snake bite any day over any of the others.
I agree totally.
Just do it. Go ahead. Bite me every day.
I mean, our friend the other night when we went herping, we found the last rat snake like 5 minutes from his house.
Yes.
40 minutes from where we were herping.
Like on a main road.
Like I had to turn around in the middle of the highway because it was coming. He saw it as it was on the shoulder coming towards the road. He's like, it's going to get run over. And he thought it was a Great Plains or a Prairie King. Mm-hmm. So we turned around and it was in the road by then, but he managed to jump out and grab it. And I bet that thing bit him 20 freaking times on the way home.
Hilarious.
Because he's like, we're close enough to my house. I'm just going to hold it till we get there. And it was, probably 1.5 feet, 2 foot long. And it's just tagging him. Bam, bam. Bam.
I'd rather be bit than be scented on.
Yes.
It never did that.
Because I'm like, if that thing musks in my wife's truck, she's going to kill all of us.
It never did that.
Oh, speaking of rat snakes, how's our abscess friend?
Well, he didn't make it. He passed away yesterday,
no.
but not because of the abscess.
But probably because of the weight.
He was just, he couldn't even drink water very well. I was giving him carnivore care, very, very diluted because he was so skinny. The wound healed up beautifully on the side. I have great pictures of how it healed. It was really good. But he was so skinny. I mean, when I got him, he wouldn't even try to get away. He didn't try to bite.
He was so lethargic.
You could flip him upside down and he wouldn't even turn over.
So for those that haven't seen it, Megan had a call. She went out and got a rat snake.
What, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Probably 2 weeks.
Probably 3 weeks
Easter.
ago.
I got it just before Easter.
Yeah, it had a huge abscess in its mouth.
Yeah,
like the people who originally posted it was in Southeast Texas. They thought it had an egg stuck, a fake egg stuck.
Yeah, that's how big it was.
It was the jaw, the side of the jaw.
So there's no telling the last time it ate because of the pain.
I mean, it was huge.
It was emaciated.
And there's no telling how much last time it drank. No telling last time it did anything that a normal snake would have done.
Yeah.
So
and I mean that growth was massive, and I mean at that point he was supposed to be a full grown snake.
Yeah.
And
it got you took it and it got lanced and cleaned and everything taken care of. But the problem is
antibiotics, painkillers, even getting the tube in. I had to go with a smaller tube and even grease the tube up because I couldn't get a bigger tube down his throat.
Man,
so it was really bad.
And unfortunately, that's the downside of rescue and rehab is that sometimes the damage is already done and there's not anything that you can do, to turn it around.
Hey, at least you guys gave him a fighting chance.
Yeah, and he had a safe place to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Safe place to die, and it wasn't in pain because it was on painkillers. The problem especially when they get that thin, is that their organs start to shut down. So sometimes you can bring them back even a little, but then they die like a month or two into it when the kidneys finally just completely give out.
Well, and especially for a colubrid who's already, it already digests, it's already going through. My brain is not working. It's what am I trying to think of? Versus boas.
Don't know.
What is it?
Like the way their digestive works, or
When fat people try to say they have a slow metabolism. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Metabolism.
Metabolism. Their metabolism is much faster than that of someone who owns a ball python or a boa. And so you're talking about it warmed up outside. It's been running at maximum. This is like my brain is shut down. Its body is running the way it's. Whoa! But I did not fall.
You're right there,
Gina's
Gina?
okay.
Yes, I'm fine.
They're already a.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they're already a slender snake as it is,
Yeah.
so it's not like there's much to lose, especially for a wild snake.
Well, and it's coming out. It's really coming at the end of winter, so there's no idea how long this happened. So we don't know actually the last time it really ate, because it may have gone months and months before, because it just finally really warmed up to start looking for food. So,
and a lot of people don't realize that when they're that skinny, you have to start them out on a very, very dilute, tiny amount of food.
Yeah.
So it's like when you have surgery, they start you on Jello and broth to get your system start going again.
Yep.
The worst thing people can do with a really emaciated animal is to give it a big meal. That'll kill it right there.
a lot of people see that thin animal, they go, oh, we got to get a lot of food into it. And so that's what they do. They want to feed it something big. And snakes, we've all seen it. They're not the brightest. And if you offer it food, they'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it is something 3 times what it can swallow or whether it's something really small, they're going to try and eat it. And so a lot of people go, well, it ate it, so it should be fine. Well, no, but it's going to take the meal no matter what. They're programmed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful with the skinny animals.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've seen a rat snake try to eat a full-grown chicken. Not going to eat a full-grown chicken.
A for effort, though. I mean, they're determined. I'll give them that.
I saw a picture the other day. It was really sad. It was a dead rat snake with a lump. When they opened it up, it was ceramic egg.
Yeah.
I just had one of those. I had posted the video that somebody called me. They found the chicken in the coop. It had swallowed 3 ceramic eggs. It was about maybe halfway down the body, and the person that picked it up couldn't get him out. They brought him to me, and we're sitting outside with a flashlight in the back of his pickup, and I just managed to get all 3 eggs out. And that little guy was so excited to eat later, and ended up I still have those eggs. I still have the eggs.
Oh my God.
And I can't
fall over him.
Those post up every now and then, and people get upset with people that own chickens. And I can't get upset with someone that owns a chicken for doing that. There's a reason for doing that. I've seen it with chickens. I mean, they're stupid. They'll crack eggs all the damn time because they're also a dumb animal as well.
It also tells the chicken where to lay the eggs.
Yeah, it also helps them.
It prompts them to lay more eggs there.
Yeah. And so there's a reason for that. It's an unfortunate thing that happens with snakes. I mean, it happens, and hopefully the snake can get found like this and get taken care of more often than not, and that'd be great. Because again, they're not always the smartest.
They're not. Biggest thing that I recommend for people that have to use the ceramic eggs is like to glue it down or screw it down or something. That way, the chickens can still see it. But if that snake is trying to eat it, it's not going to get anywhere and eventually give up.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good idea. Anyways, I want to get to our question that we asked. So we knew we were having you on, and we asked a question, said, what are your criteria for a good reptile rescue organization? And I had a feeling that the answer would be all over the place. And so we'll go through several of the answers, and then we'll discuss what they brought up. Because I know they're going to bring up some things that I'm sure you have feelings about. And so we'll go that way. Our first one, this person, Melissa, says she just started one. She has a quarantine area, a release form for surrender, an evaluation form, and the animal gets taken to the vet, which I think is probably one of the things that doesn't happen by a lot of the quote unquote rescues. Actual rescues, yes, but a vet is not there for the ones that, well, we'll talk about this later. Says, I also have lots of supplies. We took in our first animal last week and he was in bad shape, but went to the vet and now is recovering. Also screening adoptees so animals go to good homes. So that's their idea of a good rescue. Megan, do you want to read yours?
Yeah. So transparency is a big one. Don't lie to a potential adopter just so that you can find them a good home. That's not only detrimental to
Promise
that
you, this
animal,
12-foot retic is a great
Yeah.
animal for your little kid.
I mean, that's not only detrimental to the animal, but also to the adopters and to your reputation as the rescue also. And then also the ability to set boundaries. I think anybody who's been in rescue, whether it's reptiles or any other animals, knows how hard it is to say no when an animal needs your help. But just because someone has a bleeding heart doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing what's best for that animal. So a rescue that knows their limits and has the ability to say no tells me that they're responsible and trying to do what's best for the animals already in their care. You see it a lot from people who, like James mentioned, the rescues, who, their bleeding heart called them to take in this animal and they don't have any of the resources or anything to take care of them. And they just wind up collecting all of these animals and they can't care for them.
And then those animals need a rescue.
Yeah, exactly.
Robert Morrissey said, honestly, and I think he means honesty and knowledge are the big ones for me. I don't have much experience with them, but my local one has misidentified species, and when told, they denied they misidentified them.
Yep,
I can see that.
happens.
I can definitely see that.
Happens with dogs too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I also, have you ever seen the dog DNA test where you can send them off and get them back?
Mm-hmm.
Those things are BS.
Yeah, most of the time they're not really that accurate, which is why I haven't done one, because I wanted to, but then I found out that they're really not that accurate.
I forget what it was. I had a coworker when I worked at Petsmart. He sent one off, and it came back, and it was like some rare ass European breed. I'm like, that's a fucking mutt. You have a mutt. There's no way that's what's in there.
Yeah.
And since all dogs are technically related because they're all the same species, I have a hard time believing that. Anyways, back to reptiles. I digress. Daniel said, honesty about the animals they're adopting out. I've worked in dog rescue for a while, and many organizations try to sugarcoat behavioral or health issues, which is what you talked about. I don't like that in any rescue organization. And they said they make sure the potential adopter is also able to care for the animal properly. That was theirs. And then I want to pull up the other one because the other one had some ones that'll be interesting to talk about. Aaron said, number one, knows when something is out of their scope, which is also what you talked about, Megan. Knowing your limitations. 2, appropriate vet care. And 3, appropriate handling and show of rehab animals. For context, recently encountered an alleged rescue showing off animals that were in such a state that I thought one was dead. The excuse was the animal was in rehab, and rehab animals shouldn't be used for public education in this way, is what he said, which is true. It's saying for if you're selling animals, which again, 2 totally different things. Breeder, rehabber, but the same thing. You see breeders take stuff to a show and it's in really bad shape. On a certain turtle I can think of, Robert, that we saw recently. But when they're in really bad shape, don't take them to a show.
Or I mean, even honestly, even adopting out animals that are in poor condition. I've seen rescues before where they have this animal and they're adopting it out, and you just can't help but wonder if they've even done anything yet. Really?
No, they probably got it that morning, and now they're trying to adopt it out.
I've seen rescues where they'll bring in a reptile, and anybody with a fiber of common sense knows that when you bring in a new reptile, especially a rescue, and you have no idea what its background is, you need to get them checked for parasites. Yeah. And some of these rescues are not even having, general wellness checks when this animal is completely emaciated.
So one of the things I see a lot is in a lot of the groups is I'm a rescue and I'm looking for this morph.
No rescue is fucking looking for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I guarantee Gina would be glad if they were all gone. Like there's no way Gina's like, hey guys, please give me your reptiles.
Yeah.
It's not.
Or they come in there and go, hey, if anybody has, tortoises and snakes and iguanas or
rescues don't have a shopping list.
If you have an Aldabra that you can take care of, I'd be more than happy to take it. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, honey,
post me on Facebook or on Craigslist that I would take animals. I said, please take it down. Don't post me on Craigslist.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, you already have.
Thought they were doing something nice, saying, here's a rescue. If you need to, pass on your reptiles. I said, please take me down.
I mean, you already have people dropping animals off at your door and then running away. So
what you're saying is I need to drive by her door on a random day and see if there's anything sitting there.
It'll be easy to find.
Just take,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just look for the house with all of the reptile stuff out front.
So when I first started doing reptiles, I bought some racks from a guy, and it turned out it was her next door neighbor.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
Yeah, I get over there and I'm like,
racks.
I'm like looking around and there was a tortoise hitting the fence. And he's like, yeah, that's Gina. She does all the rescues. Everybody knows who she is. I was like, oh, okay. That's what a weird coincidence. Yeah.
Go through a few more of these because I haven't got to the interesting parts yet. But Sarah says, number one, adheres to local regulations regarding animals, i.e., doesn't play the I'm a rescue. I should be allowed to keep the species even though it's prohibited where I live. 2, files appropriate state and federal documentation to establish nonprofit status, especially if soliciting donations. We'll come back to that one. 3, has an active, visible board of directors. 4, will. Oh no, we lost Gina. Oh, there she is. She's back.
Yeah, somebody tried to call in.
Boo, forget them. 4, will decline to take an animal if they are unable to care for it. We talked about that one already. And partners with other credible organizations on a regional and national level. So that's what their thoughts were. Again, we'll talk about some of those. Jessa, that's a interesting name. Jessa says transparency, which is what you said earlier, Megan. Vetting the new home, which is what several people have said so far. And knowledge. Knowledge is a big one. You'll see some people that have owned a ball python for a month and now they're a rescue. Don't trust those. Mindy Fitzgerald said nonprofit status and does not breed their animals. And Danielle said honesty. They care about an adopter's ability to care for the animal and they make sure the animal is doing well after adoption. So there's a lot of those are really good. The one that I want to talk about is one that I've saw brought up in several different things over years of being in this hobby. And that is the idea of being a nonprofit or filing to be a, what is the 501c? 501c.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll ask Gina your thought on that.
All right. Well, I can tell you that it's about $900 to file for a nonprofit, and the paperwork, you basically need to hire a lawyer to do it as well. The paperwork is pretty strict. You have to basically incorporate yourself. You have to have a board. It's pretty crazy. I could put $900 into the animals or $900 into the nonprofit, getting the status. So I've always called myself a not-for-profit. And when people bring animals or when they want to donate things, I always tell somebody, if you're going to bring me your snake, I said, any supplies that you have would be appreciated, but not necessary. And I've had people, after they've given me a cage and the animal and all this stuff, they want to give me money too. And I says, that's not necessary. I just feel kind of bad in that sense, but I'm hoping I'm going to be taking over I might be put in charge of a current nonprofit. Oh, cool. So that's got my fingers crossed. So hopefully I'll be making it official. Oh, I don't know, maybe 6 months from now, but we'll see how that goes. But that way I wouldn't have to file paperwork and pay all the lawyers and the money. I would just take over the nonprofit.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
it would be.
I've seen that argument come up several times in groups before when those rescues where it's the person that's owned one ball python for a month and now they want to own more, but they don't want to buy them. Those rescues. And people talk about, well, you need to have you need to have 501c and all this. I'm like, I don't think that. I mean, I did at one point think, well, yeah, that makes sense. But since I've realized that's not the number one thing you need to be a rescue. Right?
I mean, I understand.
There's a legitimacy to it, but it's still
feel that way. And a lot of it, I mean, just like I didn't realize before I started looking into it exactly how much paperwork goes into it. A lot of people don't understand the intricacies of becoming a 501 or running a 501. They just know, okay, well, all of the, rescues that I've seen before or that I've donated to, they're all 501c3 nonprofit status.
Yeah, I'd like to also say
that's what you need to do.
The National Humane Society is also a nonprofit.
But how many people actually know the truth about the Humane Society of the United States?
Yeah. So I'm just saying not all nonprofits are created equal.
Yeah. But, when you've got somebody like Gina, who has been doing, you've been doing this for 20 years, you have a reputation in the community. You have a trusted vet that you have been working with for ages. In a situation like this, it's, the reputation and experience trumps, whether or not you have 501c status. I honestly don't care if someone has 501c status. If I know that you're doing the right thing, you're not screwing people over. There's plenty of rescues out there that have 501c that screw people over.
Sure.
Yes.
And misuse their funds. So 501c has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you're ethical.
That's true.
Well, and I can tell in about 2 minutes of talking to someone that says they're a rescue if they're legit or not. Like John Grant just said,
Mhm.
he saw a rescue up there where he's at in Oklahoma selling import Nile monitors.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you walk to the rescuer's table and they have what looks like a breeder's table, then they're probably not a rescue.
Mhm.
If you walk there and there's like 7 bearded dragons, all different types, then they're probably a rescue.
Yep.
They're-
well, like Gina, you know, they have all the supplies that they sell to help fund
yeah.
the
So-
rescue. And
So let's talk about that's usually the other big elephant in the room when it comes to rescues. One, people think that you have to be nonprofit, which we talked about. The other, people have a hard issue with the money part. I don't want to say selling, because you're not selling animals. There is a there's money exchanging hands, but you can't run this off of nothing, right? It makes no sense to try and run everything off of nothing. You have to get something to keep it going.
Well, and when I first started rescue, I just made an adoption fee of $25 for everything. And I would have people buy or adopt, I should say, a $25 snake, turn around and sell it for $300.
Yeah.
And I learned that, I managed to adopt out all of the animals I had for adoption, but I have no idea where they went from there, because the people that took them turned around and flipped them. And so I definitely needed to charge more so that would stop the flipping. And I can, for teachers, I usually do half price if it's going in a classroom. And I put a money back guarantee on every animal that goes out. I don't care if it's at a reptile show or out of my house. It's a money back guarantee. If you don't like the animal, you can return it. I don't even care if it's a year later, and I'll give you your money back.
Well,
I had somebody adopt a corn snake from me, and they came back about a year later and said it had a tumor.
Mm.
So I said, okay, well, I can take the snake back and refund your adoption fee. We could trade it out for another snake, or I'll take it to the vet and I'll pay for the surgery and then give you your snake back. But then after that,
people keep calling her.
I know. Hold on. We can't
We
hear Gene. We lost.
So I ended
There
up,
she
I ended up paying for the surgery, or taking it into the vet for the surgery, and then returning the animal.
See, and that's a lot of people don't understand. Yes, okay, so you're getting a bearded dragon or a ball python or whatever from a rescue. That's not the same as buying it off someone's table who's selling it as a breeder, right?
Mhm.
There's supplies you had to put in to help house it. You had to feed it. And then for a lot of these, there's a vet bill that goes with it. There's medicine that these things take. That's not cheap. Antibiotics for animals are not cheap. And, so yes, you may be getting a bearded dragon. That bearded dragon may have looked way worse when it first got there. And all that money that went into making it healthy again, some of that's got to be recouped, or else you would just go bankrupt. You wouldn't be able to keep doing this.
My electricity bill for a single person in my house is $365 during the summer for one person.
Oof.
And my temperature in my house is about 86.
Yeah, no,
So that's not air conditioning. That's all the heat lamps.
I'm not visiting.
It doesn't feel 86. I don't know if I've just become numb to the heat at this point.
I've never become numb to the heat.
But I don't notice. Your house does not feel that hot.
It is.
She's like, it definitely is.
We'll talk when I come visit during the summer.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I mean, I actually, this is a rental house, and my landlord is a.
Oh, you cut out.
You cut it. I love it. My landlord is and then it cuts out, and I'm like,
oh, wait,
damn.
sorry. Somebody else is trying to call again. I don't know how to stop anybody else from calling. But my landlord's a police officer. And so I always wondered, how come the electric company doesn't turn my number in for a single household with huge electricity usage as a pot house or something, but my landlord's a cop. So if anything came across there, he's been in here, he knows what I got. So pretty funny.
That's pretty
And
good. At a
water
landlord
bills,
that's okay.
electricity. Yeah. It just adds.
I'm gonna call this person back and tell them to stop calling.
Gotta put it on
Post on Gina's page.
Yeah.
Stop calling her.
Yeah. But I have my own flagellum panicure. I do my own worming. I've got my own antibiotics. I've got my own Baytril. I got my own Silvadine. I have You know, I work with the wildlife shelter and Dr. White, Larry White, the best reptile vet, by the way. And I have a lot of this stuff, and I've been trained on how to deal with a lot of this stuff. So I don't have to take a minor thing in to the vet, like a turtle with an ear abscess. I can take care of that. That's easy. You know, a snake that has been caught in netting that has torn skin. I can deal with that. A turtle that has a hook in its mouth. I can deal with that. So a lot of stuff, experience.
That brings me to something I think we talked about last week on here, or maybe the week before. I saw in a group. So you have experience giving injections and doing this and doing that, and that's great. I saw on Facebook, though, we're talking about rainbow boa. Someone's rainbow boa had looked like an RI, and they're like, just give it an injection of, what was it, Baytril? I think they said to give it to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, first off, this person doesn't even know what a RI is or what, and I tell them to stab their animal with a needle and give them medicine they've never given. Like, that's horrible advice to give out on the internet. That is left for people that have done it on a regular basis, like a rescue or a vet or someone who has experience with that. So I'm like, please don't give advice of medical advice of what people should do to their animal. Go to a vet.
You're not giving injections to reptiles the same way that you're giving them to a dog or a cat.
Well, and that person telling them to do that has probably never done it themselves either.
Yeah. Because if you tell them they're just going to take it and they're just going to jab it in there, I'm like, they're subcutaneous injections.
Yeah.
That's completely different than just shoving a needle and hoping you don't hit a major organ.
Yeah, no, I had to give them to the iguana that I was rehabbing. There's no way I could have done it if the vet hadn't showed me how to do it first. Completely
but you
different.
should try giving a shot in the upper arm to a large snapping turtle. Now that's fun. I can do it all by myself.
No, thank you. Better you than me. See, I told y'all she was
really,
hardcore.
really easy. You turn them into a burrito. So with a towel.
Oh, okay.
I'll take your word for it, Gina. I love how she's just casually, we'll just turn the snapping.
So you say that
snapping turtle.
I lived in Louisiana where they would literally turn that into a burrito. Like they would cook that turtle and turn it into a burrito.
I'd wrap the snapping turtle with a towel and then use a pressure point at my knee because
as a zookeeper in Louisiana, I learned all sorts of recipes for my animals at the zoo when customers came through.
Right.
So I mean,
I got a message the other night asking me if I knew anybody who could help get a large snapping turtle out of a pool. And I was like, I have no idea. Not me.
Yeah.
They're not bad. Although I do it by the way that everybody tells you not to do it. I don't give a shit. I grab them by the tail.
I will help move one, but not one that's in water.
It's not bad.
That can move faster than
when they can't spin around kind of quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Just use a really big net to get it out.
I don't have a really big net.
Alligator snappers are 100 times easier to move than common snappers.
Really?
Alligator snappers, you can put your hand behind their head and pick them up.
You have to put your hand behind your head.
Yeah.
If you grab them on the side, they can get you.
Yeah.
Common snappers, you can put your hand behind their head, but because of the way it's set, they can also grab you sometimes when you put your hand behind their head.
Yeah.
They're built a little different.
I don't deal with snappers.
Alligator snappers are easy. It's very, now it is tricky to move like 100-pound alligator snapper because you can put your hand behind its head and grab you up, but you can't like hold it against you like this.
Yeah.
Because if you hold it against you like that, it's going to just bite you in the face.
I've seen people do like the towel or blanket trick where they like throw a blanket on it, let it like bite the blanket and then grab it. So it's like distracted.
Great until let's go to the blanket and then bites you.
Yeah. I considered that. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm just not going to.
I've had to move 100-pounders and it's muscle at that point. You hold it out in front of you, you hold the back and you take breaks along the way, depending on how far you have to go.
I'll call you when somebody calls me for one of those.
I tried to save a common snapper out of the road the other day, but I was 1 second too late. The guy in front of me picked it up.
I heard.
I was pissed. I turned around to get it. He turned around in front of me to get it, and I saw he was about to get it. And when I got out, he got out of his car and he was on the phone with somebody. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna bring it to you. I was like, fuck. And I wasn't gonna take it because I wasn't the first one there. So I'm like, I don't want to be that dick. I'm like, no, you can't have it, and then run off with the turtle. And so I don't know if it got eaten or as a pet or what happened to it, but they took it. So
jerks.
I know. I'm going to assume that they wanted it. For some reason, they wanted a common snapper turtle in their pond. And
well, it's actually illegal to pick up on public land.
Yep.
I'm assuming it came out. So it's where they extended that pond on that neighborhood up here, and it's drained right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it came up out of that pond,
probably,
and it was sitting right in the middle of the road. And luckily, it hadn't gotten hit because it was right in the middle of a lane.
Yeah.
But I didn't get hit in time.
Yeah, at least it got rescued. Hopefully.
Yeah, air quote rescued. It got out of the road.
It didn't get hit by a car.
It did not get hit by a car.
Yes.
And that is the bonus. I did want to pull up. I pulled up something. We asked this question. Oh, when was it? Back in January, and I felt like it was somewhat applied to this. It was, what reptile do you think should be sold less in the hobby and why? And I think we've definitely, beardeds are probably definitely on that list. I mean, that does get mentioned here quite a bit. But some of these other ones, I'm wondering how often they show up. Savannah monitors. Do you ever get monitors?
I get Savannah maybe 2 a year.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, it sucks, but that's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Nile monitor is probably 4 a year.
I was going to say, didn't you recently have a Nile monitor?
Or I had a mangrove monitor.
Mangrove monitor, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Although I think the unfortunate part to Gina not getting some of these is some of them just, they die before someone's going to surrender. That's another problem, is a lot of these animals die before someone surrenders, or they get so bad they finally like, no, right now I need to surrender them to them. Whereas if they get them to Gina at the very beginning when they realize they couldn't take care of it, it'd be such an easier process. I imagine you get a lot of them that are so emaciated, or so many stuck sheds on a snake, or they're covered in feces because they haven't been cleaned.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of them like that. It's just people, and sometimes they get it from somebody and they decide it's too much for them, or somebody passes away, or they're afraid of it. The kid goes to college and leaves it with mom thinking they're going to take care of it. Mom says, that's it, I'm done. I'm not having anything to do with it. There's just so many reasons.
I had not this past Christmas, but the one before. So it was, Christmas 2020. I wound up taking in he was probably 4 or 5 month old green iguana that normally I wouldn't have done this, but he desperately needed help. I mean, this poor thing, this person had him in like a 10-gallon tank with sand, nothing to climb on, no hides. They were feeding him like I can't remember.
Wait, what was it?
It was a baby green iguana.
Oh, okay.
They had it in like a 10-gallon tank on sand.
What's wrong with that? I don't understand.
Nothing to hide, no hides, no climbing, no UVB, no proper heat.
Wait a minute. You need lights for these things?
Lettuce. And so I took him in, and unfortunately I wound up having to euthanize him. But it was one of those situations where got him the vet care that he needed. We had the heat, had the lights, was giving him the critical care. But it was just the damage had been done at that point, I'm
assuming you get sulcatas in often.
Maybe 5 or 6 a year.
That's still too many. Like I've said before, I own 5 of them and I've never bought one. So
I won't keep. That's the one tortoise I will not keep. I will always find it a home.
I love them, but I will never keep them unless we actually wind up buying land eventually. Because that's a lot of tortoise.
It's a lot. I miss mine.
I'm more concerned. I'm not even necessarily concerned with the size in my yard. I have a large backyard.
You don't have sulcata large backyard.
I'm more concerned with the sulcata. If sulcatas weren't sulcatas, I would love to have one. It's the digging and the Kool-Aid Man action.
I've never had the digging issue.
No?
I find the people that have digging issues don't give a sulcata somewhere to go.
Mm.
And so they have the need to dig. But when I worked at the zoo, we had a whole yard full of them.
So basically it's a lack of enrichment, essentially.
They had an indoor place to go. They can get out of everything. They'd go in there. At my house where they're at in Louisiana, they have a concrete bunker that they can go into and get out of the sun and go in. It's just like a burrow. I don't find they dig. Now, when you see like the guy out in Arizona does the big sulcata rescue and all that, they're out in the middle of the desert. So they're naturally going to dig down because that's where they got to get to cool off. But I have found that I don't have an issue with them digging over here as long as you give them something to go into. If you just put them in a yard, they're going to dig a hole. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But for a long time, I thought, well, if they can see through the fence, they'll dig. That wasn't an issue because mine has a chain link fence around mine. I mean, they have another fence between them. It's wire, but they can see straight through, and they don't care at all. They haven't dug anything. Now, dogs, on the other hand, the dogs will dig no matter what because they're a pain in the butt. But my tortoises haven't dug.
So what I'm hearing is that tortoises are better than dogs.
Tortoises are a million times better than dogs.
Yeah. Well,
Redfoot tortoises.
I love waffles.
I have a redfoot.
She comes to me like a dog now. She's pretty irritated because I'm not feeding her every day, but I walk up to her tub to greet her in the morning And then she just like immediately gets up and starts walking over like she's expecting me to give her something. And that one's got an attitude. You gave me a tortoise with an attitude, Gina.
That's okay.
Yeah, she's got tude. So, and I need like 5 more.
If you want a tortoise with an attitude, get you a male sulcata.
Yeah. Well,
Now that's the thing I can see where somebody was like, I don't want them because they are dicks. They can't help it. They're just dicks. They want to ram everything and the problem
Look
is
at you.
and the problem is they always seem to be male when I get one.
Dell, unplug your heater in your snake room, right, John Grant?
Oh yeah, John Grant lost. No, that's maybe too soon for that one.
It's been over a year.
It'll get between your gas lines and your house and rip your gas lines out of the wall.
oh Jesus.
Yeah, they're destructive on that one. That's why, like, when I saw that one post last week where people were like, just let it roam your house. Fuck you. That's a stupid idea.
Go through your sheetrock.
That's a stupid fucking idea. They were all pissed at someone because
let me get right on that.
they put that tortoise in a tub and it broke the tub, and they're like, you should just let it roam your house. Well, you should shut up. You should have better ideas. But anyways,
Wait, it broke the tub, and then
Well,
they recommended let it roam.
they brought it in it was cold outside for like 2 nights. They put it in a big black tub and it turned sideways, and it's enough force to snap the tub. And everybody was telling them how they should get rid of the animal and they shouldn't be allowed to own it, and they're a horrible person, this or that. And then they seemed like, you just let it roam your house. I've seen those things shit and piss, and I've seen what they can run through. None of that's happening in my house.
I'm not even letting an adult redfoot free roam my house because I've seen them shit and piss, and it's not pleasant.
Yeah, I don't need white gooey urates all over my living room floor.
No.
But anyways, I digress.
I already made that mistake once with my snake. Never again.
You let your snake roam your house?
Well, no, I didn't let her roam my house, but I took her out of her enclosure knowing that she hadn't gone to the bathroom after eating yet. And I thought,
She won't do it now.
What harm could a little enrichment do?
What would all this moving around in this tube full of shit do?
What harm could it do, James? What harm could it do? Well, I'll tell you what it did. She shit on my living room floor. It was terrible.
I still have the corn snake. When my snow corn was smaller, it could fit in my shirt pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
They're sneaky and they escape.
I put it in my shirt pocket, and then I got very warm and wet all at one time, and then the smell hit. So then I had to get the snake out of the shirt pocket. 2, I had to get the shirt off of me as it soaked through the shirt onto my body. So it was just, I have not since put a snake in a pocket.
I'm
Ever.
always concerned about the people keep tagging me in the video of the snake massage. They have like these Burmese pythons that
they crawl over the people.
And people keep tagging me in it. Like I don't know if they're expecting me to say that like, yes, that would freak me out or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, this seems like a good time, but honestly, my biggest concern about this situation is when's the last time that snake went to the bathroom, because that's going to be a bad time if this goes south. No thanks.
Anytime I do education programs or at a show, I'm always taking an extra shirt because things happen.
Yep. Hand sanitizer, paper
Gross
towels.
Yep.
So I know like in the past you've done like quite a few like education events. Are you doing any more now that COVID is kind of leveled off at this point and things are kind of back to normal in Texas?
Well, I had 2 scheduled at schools, but they got canceled. Spring Branch, since I teach in this district, the elementaries will call me to come out for a health fair or whatever's going on, Easter fair. And so I'll come out. I'm the free petting zoo. I am doing the SPCA summer camp. So I'm bringing out to that. I do that every year. And I usually do the Humane Society summer camp. I do them all for free. And then, but I haven't heard much from the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, or like I usually did Earth Day, and there were festivals all over the city. They would come and do things, but they really haven't, I guess they're really not coming back yet. So we'll see.
No, I don't think you are short of anything to keep you busy right now anyway. So I mean, unless you are, you seem like maybe you're sitting at home
you want,
twiddling your thumbs all day.
I can put your information on Craigslist if you would like.
Yeah.
No,
Craigslist, Facebook, maybe throw in a TikTok account. Nextdoor would be a good one.
So I want to go over some of the things on our discussion page.
Yes.
Okay.
There's some things on there. I don't know how many people have seen the picture of the king snake eating a garter snake, eating a toad. It's basically the coon-ass version of a turducken.
Yep.
Wait, I didn't see that. When was that one posted?
It was posted on the 26th. It was right after the last podcast. But yeah, it's a speckled king snake eating a garter snake, which was also eating a toad.
I don't know how I missed that one.
I would like to know how that ended. I would like to know if the king snake finished with everything or if he let it go. Oh, and there's also Nathan Holcomb posted that garter snake, that red garter snake from North Carolina. That thing was amazing looking.
Yes.
I think some of these I said last week. I can't remember. I don't think I posted this one. This one. Okay. So I posted a video of a dog and a cat last week. Did anybody? I know Robert saw the video of the dog and the cat.
I don't think I saw that.
It's a, it was a male dog. I think it was a male dog and a female cat. And their anatomy will go together, but their anatomy doesn't like to separate.
Yeah.
And so now it's a dog dragging a cat around.
Oh, that one. Yes, I saw
Kind of
that.
like box turtles.
Yeah.
You ever seen box
Yeah.
turtles lock up like that?
Yes.
And then the female just walks off dragging the male.
Yeah. This cat was not happy. It was screaming the whole time. Oh, there was one. There was also a video on our group of two black bears. I've never seen two black bears. Like, you always see videos on like National Geographic of like grizzlies fighting. This is two big ass black bears in Tennessee, just going to town on each other, tearing up each other in Tennessee, which would be awesome to see. I've seen black bears in the wild, and I always think, man, we're so lucky to have black bears in the South and not grizzly bears.
To see at a distance.
I saw them like right next to our truck once. We were driving through Shenandoah in Virginia, and they were right. There was a mom and a cub right next to the truck.
We used to live in Alaska when I was growing up. My dad was stationed up there, and we had grizzlies, black bears. Sometimes you could look out your window and there was a moose walking down the street.
And those scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
A grizzly scares me, but a moose really scares me.
Yeah, we stayed inside.
I think way too many people get comfortable around a moose because it's like, it's not a bear. It's a fucking moose.
But they're
huge.
Mean as hell.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
They're not.
You posted one about US Ark, a video of the US Ark.
I did. I posted a couple actually. If you're not following them on YouTube yet, US Ark does have a YouTube channel now, and they've posted several videos at this point. They have posted the first video that I posted, which is "What Are We Fighting For?" That one they recorded several people at, I think it was the last Tinley NARBC, asking people like what US Ark means to them and what why it's important. And then a really good one that if you haven't watched it yet, you should. It's the second video that I posted, and that one is kind of an interview with Garrett Hartle from Reach Out Reptiles. And he spends the entire video, basically it's like an open letter to his congressional representatives, on why it's important for us to, fight against the Lacey Act amendments. And I honestly couldn't have said anything that he said better. He hit the nail on the head. The way that he presented it is, respectful and knowledgeable, which is exactly the way that, we should be representing ourselves in the hobby. So if you haven't watched it, you need to, because it's a great video. And
with all the US Ark stuff, I also want to throw in our April/May giveaway, because we did extend it into May. We are still giving away the custom chameleon mandala from our friends over at Crafty Gargoyles, which is, if anybody's watching the video, it's back here on the wall. It's hard to tell in there, but there's a picture on our Facebook group and on our Facebook discussion group. All you got to do is post a picture of your US Ark membership. Just go take a screenshot, post it. We got a lot of people in the last week that posted theirs. It was great. And then once you post that, you're in it to win, and then we will give it away. And also go over and check out Crafty Gargoyles on Facebook and check out some of the mandalas they have. They're the skill. And I talked to Robert about this every time we're at a show, because they always seem to be near us at a show. we've seen them grow from when they started doing this to now, and their skill with making these things it's insane. And any of them would be an amazing addition to your house, your snake room, or whatever.
So my in-laws don't listen to this. So my 11-year-old went to Gina, not Gina, that's Gina.
That's Gina.
Went
not Gina.
to Talina
at
Beaumont and said he wanted a white-tailed deer buck mandala for his pawpaw for his birthday in September. And he wanted to know how much it was going to be so he could save his money.
Oh, that's adorable.
And she's already got it done, and it looks awesome. She sent us pictures the other day. It looks awesome. But yeah, he wanted to get that for his pawpaw for his birthday in September. Yeah, he's got his moments.
He's a good kid.
But yeah, go check out the work that Talina and Gonzo does, the painting that Talina has gotten now on some of these things. Some of these ones underneath black lights are insane to look at. But they do so many. They do a ton of animals, but they can do almost anything. But some of their intricate ones, they've got one, it's a Mardi Gras mask that is crazy. It's bright green and yellow and purple. So go check out Crafty Gargoyle. Also, if you're looking for a gargoyle, you can check out, they also have some lychees and other stuff as well. So go give them a check. Buy some stuff for them. Put it up in your house. You'll love it. I promise. Our buddy Bill Bradley from last week did post a picture of some underwear.
Really beautiful American, very patriotic Speedo.
A little Speedo that thankfully he just posted the Speedo and not the Speedo on him.
Yeah. Because he would.
He definitely would.
He would. He was very on board with my fundraising idea.
Yeah, no, I will put money into it not to see him in a Speedo. When I posted the episode last week, I said it was him in a thong, and he said no, it was a Speedo. I told him no, if he puts a Speedo on, it's becoming a thong. So we will pass on that. This one got posted. The original post got taken down, but Dallas Rua posted a picture of I think he's a previous sheriff running again for sheriff in Andalusia, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
He was saving the public from a 2-foot corn snake in a Piggly Wiggly parking lot, which is a grocery store for those that don't know what a Piggly Wiggly is. But
I didn't even know that there were Piggly Wigglies still open.
There's small towns. They're only small towns.
There's one in West Wego.
Yeah.
Right around the venue.
But he's stepping on the head. First, you can see the first picture is him like fucking with it. And there's a second picture where I'm like, he just got this giant like leap and stepping on its head to kill it in the middle of this. It's a little corn snake or a rat snake. It's hard to tell from a distance. But, and of course, some people are like praising him how he saved them. But that man is wants to be an elected official. Again. And they're going to trust him to walk around with a gun. Well, there's a guy that gets scared by a corn snake and has to kill a corn snake. Can't just be like, shoo.
No, he wasn't scared by the corn snake. He was super brave and manly, saving the townspeople.
The manly man by stepping on its head.
Get their groceries to the car.
But Dallas has been trying, and I would love for Dallas and Amanda to win this. They've been trying to push for its animal cruelty, which is 100% is animal cruelty. But you know how that usually works. If it's not fuzzy, it's not animal cruelty to the general public.
In Texas, it wouldn't be.
Yeah. They will.
No. I mean, honestly, in most states, they're not gonna. In all states, most people aren't just gonna give a shit.
So my problem is, I still think it should be illegal to kill them. You know how it's illegal to kill birds of prey, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no one's been like, oh no, we're really running low on black vultures. It should still be illegal to kill any. Like it should be illegal to kill. We're not. They're not a food source. They're not like fishing or hunting. So I don't know. I have a problem with that. But anyways. That was a picture they posted. If you're in Andalusia, Alabama, don't vote for that dick. I can't remember his name, but fuck him.
Dennis Meeks.
Fuck Dennis Meeks.
He also supports rattlesnake roundup. So
what? The weirdest shit you get from your reptile friends. John Grant just sent us a picture. Looks like some prime rib that he traded someone for some rats.
Brian McDowell posted it was a Crebo eating a Bushmaster. Did you see that video?
Mm-hmm.
That is.
Oh, that one was cool.
Some fucked up snakes in the world. The Bushmaster is a horrifying snake. You've been near Bushmasters in a collection.
Yes, I have.
And they are a scary animal.
They're intense.
And this Crebo said, "No, I'm gonna go ahead and eat that. That looks good." So that was a crazy video.
It just shows you how badass a Crebo is.
And they get big though. I mean, Crebo's
it's a Drymarchon, so
yeah, it's Indigo.
It's Indigo, yeah.
One day I will have one.
Nathan,
so I need to go get one so I can be like, hey, look what I got, Megan.
Fuck you, Robert. You got my speckles too.
Nathan posted a snake picture for Katie, which was a mangrove pit viper, but a black mangrove pit viper, which just looks pretty vicious. I'll
It
pass on
was
that.
So freaking cool though.
Mm-hmm.
So freaking cool.
I did not watch the alligator burps video. Did anybody watch that one? I meant to,
No.
but I've heard alligators make weird noises. I'm used to alligators making weird noises. I did see the box turtle with the blue eyes, which is really pretty. There's a picture of it. Go check that out. There's a box turtle with blue eyes. Really pretty. All these simple things, and I did not read the thing that Travis posted. I apologize, Travis Wyman. He tried to make us smarter, and I did not. But it was targeted gene distribution in marsupial, whatever. So it's pretty cool. They finally managed to successfully crack how to use CRISPR in a marsupial model.
Yeah, I meant to comment on that. Please explain this to me like I'm 5.
I asked Travis to do that all the time for me, and he seems to still think that I know what they're talking about.
I saw the post and I thought, wow, that would be really cool if I knew what any of this meant.
You don't know what CRISPR is?
I do know what CRISPR is.
No, I have no idea what any of that said. Except the part with rats.
It's a technology that can be used to edit genes.
Yeah, they can change the DNA around.
Oh, okay.
The eventual goal is you can order your own baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with not ordering any babies.
Well, you're good with no babies at all. There's a difference there.
Great.
We
My
talked
house
about
is
it a couple
so
weeks ago, but we have 3 friends that are all either pushing 40 or are 40 or who are all having their first children.
No, I'm good. I got my one. I'm good.
When I do some sort of like announcement, it'll be, look at this clutch of snakes. We're gonna do a gender reveal once they hatch.
Yep.
That'll be my parenting announcement.
All right, so here's 2 back-to-back stories that are somewhat related. The first one, it's the picture that really fucks this one up. Sweetwater police warning of increase in rattlesnake activity.
Yeah.
But the picture's a gaboon viper. So
I think the other one's like
that one had me
a
scratching
Southern
my
Pacific
head.
rattlesnake or something
Yeah.
that's nowhere near.
Yeah, so if you're in Sweetwater, watch out. Those rattling gaboon vipers, pretty fucking dangerous.
Y'all got bigger problems.
Now I know why they have that roundup. They have all these rattling gaboon vipers they got to take care of.
Right.
Got to get rid of them. What are we going to do? But speaking of roundups, okay, so I need people to understand. It's going to sound heartless when I say what I'm about to say. And it kind of is, and I don't give a shit. So a dumb fuck at a Texas rattlesnake roundup. Where was this one located?
Freer,
Freer.
Texas. It's down in like way South Texas, like close to
Way
Mexico.
South Texas.
Like like
you don't-
Brownsville.
don't go to
like,
the
It's a little more north than that.
like,
Yeah.
but like close to that.
And this
area.
is a kill rattlesnake roundup, right? You looked up, it was a kill rattlesnake roundup.
Yes.
The rattlesnake handler died. He got bit by a rattlesnake and died. And good. I mean, I'm sure they've killed enough rattlesnakes in however many years.
Here's the problem.
It won't affect them.
Yeah, yes, it will. It'll make that rattlesnake roundup more popular because now people are like, look, it even killed one of the handlers there. We need to kill more rattlesnakes.
See, I'm more worried about it bothering legal venomous keepers, finding some way for that to bother to tie in a law
Mhm.
that will get into the hobby, even though this is not hobby related at all. Nothing about this is hobby related. But
I was trying to find out too, because and I don't know if y'all tried Googling them or not, but I was watching several videos of this guy that I found on YouTube. And it's like this little organization that they have in Freer, Texas, and they call themselves the Snake Busters.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I have been able to find is Snake Busters in Australia, because I was trying to figure out like exactly what
they're busting?
Yeah, like exactly what they're doing. Because
Well, he was supposedly the head of the Snake Busters.
yeah,
He was,
because
like,
I mean, it
president.
said that like he's been,
And he got
handling snakes for 20 years, but I'm like, okay, what are y'all doing? Like, are you just, you're coming out and picking up snakes when people have one on their property, you're collecting them for these roundups. What exactly are y'all doing? And I can't seem to find any information on them at all.
None of it requires you to handle a rattlesnake in a way in which you would get bit the way he did.
I just found
so many videos. He's kissing the rattlesnake on the face. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. No means no.
Like, absolutely not.
Yeah. So fuck him.
I just found an article about that was actually put out just a couple of days before he died, where they interviewed him. The local news did.
Oh, did you?
About what they do and.
Okay.
But yeah,
send that to me so I can read it. I didn't find that one. I did find an article where his son was bitten by a rattlesnake a couple of years ago. So it seems to be kind of like a
Stupidity runs in the family.
recurring theme. And obviously that can happen to anybody who's
That's not
who's
nearly
working
as-
with venomous snakes, but the way that they are working with venomous snakes is clearly unsafe.
See, that one's not nearly as good as the Pentecostal preacher who died from snake handling, and then his son died the same way as a Pentecostal preacher through snake handling. That one's lovely. I love that one.
All right, I'm gonna have to do some reading when I get home.
Also posted Terry Vandeventer. If anybody knows Terry Vandeventer, he's been in the hobby for a long time. Also, he does knives. You may know him from knives. But he unfortunately had an animal die, but this animal is very impressive. It is a 49-inch copperhead. You saw that one? It is a massive copperhead.
Gorgeous.
He's had it. Let's see. He collected it back in 2004. It was 30 inches. It died unfortunately now at. It says this one reached 53.5 inches. So his largest wild one was 49. This one was 53.5 inches. It's a massive copperhead.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. One of the prettiest patterns I've ever seen.
Darren Watson, I haven't seen that one. Says that Clint over at Clint's Reptiles did a video talking about albino and leucistic genes. I'll have to go check that out. Those are always interesting ones. We've talked about it with.
We haven't spoken to our guest
I know. I
in
apologize.
20 minutes.
I apologize.
So let's see if she has anything else she wants to talk about, or.
I know. I was going through there was a lot of stuff this week.
Oh no, this is pretty interesting. No, seriously interesting.
She's over there celebrating the guy that got bit in the face.
Bit him on the collarbone.
Yeah.
On the collarbone.
This is why I don't deal with venomous.
Have you
I'm
had any?
smart enough to know I'm too stupid to deal with them.
See, we talk about knowing your limitations as a rescue.
Well,
That's
like-
Exactly.
Oh,
Our friend John
yes.
Grant. He's great at handling snakes, but he says I don't get venomous because I get bit all the time.
because John Grant's okay getting bit, so he would
Right.
end up doing something stupid.
Which that actually makes me think. So, I mean, you already said that like you don't really deal with mammals anymore, but are there any reptiles that you used to work with a lot that you just other than iguanas? Is there anything else that you're just like I'm not working with them anymore?
Big snakes,
was gonna
birds.
say-
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
When we say big, like what's our like limit? Like anything under or
Over
like
8
above
feet.
8 feet? Okay.
8 feet. And I've got 150-gallon aquariums here that'll fit a big snake, no problem. Reptile aquariums. But anything over 8 feet, I can't unwrap myself if it went after me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to deal with having another person in the house in the sense that, hey, can you come over because I'm going to feed or clean this or
Yeah.
open this?
This
Yeah.
this
But
snake
anything
poop.
that-
Now I have to make plans to have someone come visit so I can clean up poop.
Yeah. If it's 8 feet, if it tries to wrap me, I can handle that. But anything over that, no.
So how often are you turning things away? We talked about rescues knowing their limitations, and we talked about you won't deal with hots and you won't deal with large constrictors. How often, or sulcatas, how often are you having to turn things away?
I have a pretty good list of where I can send people.
Yeah.
Like the SPCA called me about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something. And I don't know if it was a Nile monitor, whatever it was a large monitor, some type of large monitor lizard. And I can't deal with that. And I sent him to Eric at Pets Aplenty.
Yeah.
It's like I called him up first and I said, hey, are you guys able to take in this animal? I don't typically take in monitors. But the one that I got in, the latest one I got in was a mangrove, and it was only like 3 feet long, including the tail. So it wasn't a big deal. But the bigger ones, not necessary. I don't deal with them. I don't want them tearing up my cages and
Or you.
they'll shred your arms. Yeah, the bigger ones. No thanks.
What about like Cayman?
I actually took in 2 baby cayman years ago, but they were little, and they were also, I believe, SPCA rescue. And this is when I figured out you cannot force feed a caiman by opening its mouth and putting a fish in its mouth. So I knew they had the back flap. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew that when they open their mouth, their throat closes. I knew it. But until I actually tried to feed it, it was one of those duh moments, I got them eating, no problem, and I found homes for them. And if they're babies, I don't care. But big ones, no.
Yeah.
So that's way beyond me.
We talked about, or we didn't talk about, it was this week that someone posted a Cayman that they had just gotten at a show and they couldn't keep anymore. which is an all too common occurrence on. There's two things that once shows come through, you can almost be promised to see. Probably some sort of cobra and a caiman, because it looked adorable and it was cheap at the show. And then you get it back home and you realize, oh, fuck, this is a cobra. Or, oh, shit, this is a caiman. It looked like a pet at the show surrounded by all the other pets. And then you realize this is National Geographic in my living room and I can't do this.
I was at a non-herp show. Let me be clear about that. It was not a herp show last year. And I was out front waiting for a customer to pull up so I could load them up. And this guy comes out and he had 2 cobras he had just purchased. And so we start talking. And he's telling me, yeah, I've got a West African green mamba and a black mamba. And, oh, yeah, how long you been keeping venomous? Oh, about 2 months. All right. I said, so then he starts talking.
That's what he started with?
He's like, yeah. He's like, that black mamba really intimidates me. I got it out the other day and I couldn't control it. And it got loose in my bedroom. And I had to like shove towels under the door. He's like, because I'm not the best housekeeper in the world. My house is pretty messed up. And it took me like 4 hours to find this 8-foot black mamba. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm sitting here thinking this is going to be the guy that we see on the news one day.
See, the people like that are the reason why I firmly believe that you should have to take an IQ test before you're allowed to keep animals, particularly ones that can kill you.
I'm not opposed to a permitting system. I've talked before on stuff like that, or even crocodilians. You know, Florida, it's extreme, but it does its job. It's 1,000 hours per family. So 1,000 hours per colubridae, 1,000 hours per viperidae, and 1,000 hours per elapidae of experience with another keeper before you're allowed to get your permit to keep. Or there's a test you can take. You can take the test and it will bypass all that. Proves that you know what you're talking about, kind of. But I do like the idea of some sort of a permit system. And of course, people will go, well, I don't want to have a permit because then they know I have them. Well, they may need to know you have them. Yeah. I mean, the fuckstick in North Carolina who's got out and then thought nature would kill it and it didn't. They needed to know that was out.
Yeah.
So
fuckers like that is why we have a permit system.
What was that, Gina?
The people in the city limits that have stuff they're not supposed to have, they're never going to get their permits.
Yep.
Yeah. They don't want to admit they have it illegally, say like in Houston city limits.
If I had $1 for every person I know that lives in the city of Houston that has boas or has venomous.
Yeah.
But
like the guy whose king cobra got out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
In Harris County.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's venomous, the whole county. So
yeah.
Yeah.
But what's funny is a tiger got out 2 years ago. Last year.
That guy just got convicted of murder today.
Yeah.
But you didn't see them outlaw tigers in Texas.
No.
Because there's a trillion of them in Texas.
He didn't even face any legal charges.
It's a fucking tiger.
Yeah.
He was already out on bond on a murder charge.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he got convicted today.
Just so comforting.
Could you imagine walking outside going, nope, close your door, calling your boss, going, hey, I can't come in today because there's a tiger.
In the height of Hurricane Harvey, some people were out taking a walk to look at damage up near Splendora, and a tiger came out of the woods and jumped up on the guy's shoulders and was like, hey, buddy. And
that's the moment I would shit myself
before
having a heart
He
attack.
needed
tiger,
new pants
which
after
is
that one.
Still a huge animal. And he was like, okay. So they kind of backed off and called, and it laid down, and it was super tame, but it was being kept illegally in that county, and they ended up taking it to that big wolf /
but again,
cat rescue up in.
No one is aiming to get rid of tigers in Texas.
Yep.
But one guy has a snake get loose in Texas, and people are like, we need to pass laws so nobody can have these things. I'm
because tigers aren't poisonous and evil.
And because they're fuzzy and cute. And there's a shit ton of them in Texas.
In the hunting world, we call them charismatic carnivores.
Sure, they could kill you with one swipe of the paw, but if that's how I go out, that's how I go out. At least it was adorable.
There's a big prejudice against reptiles.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We all know it.
Yeah, and it's definitely seen in lawmaking.
Right now in BC Updates, Missouri County Group, somebody posted a picture of a dead broadband water snake hanging on a fence. Can anybody tell me what kind this is?
Let me guess. It was a water moccasin.
So I commented. I was the first one to comment. Said it's a broadband water snake. Blah blah blah.
You don't know nothing.
And I said, and let's just see how long it takes some idiot to call it a cottonmouth or the next comment. Pretty sure it's cottonmouth.
Pretty sure it's cotton.
I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
It's snake. It's cottonmouth.
My favorite one is people are like, well, let it come bite you and see. Okay,
sure.
All right.
If that's what it takes to make you shut up, I'll do it.
Someone in our neighborhood group posted like a ring cam video of two kids opening up water main lid and looking inside and playing, probably looking for toads or something. And someone earlier that day had posted our local alligator that lives in our pond here, and everybody always freaks out when they see the alligator. I'm like, someone goes, "How'd that get here?" I'm like, you live in Southeast Texas. It was here.
Why do people ask that question? They ask it in Mariana too.
It didn't get here.
It walked.
You live in a place that already had alligators before they built houses. That's how it got here.
Where my neighborhood is, I used to buy hay. We used to pick up hay out of that pasture right there, and it was surrounded by rice field. This was rice fields over here.
My house used to be
rice
on
fields.
Rice fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the person posted the ring video, and they said, "Someone should tell these kids not to do that. There could be snakes in there. We already have an alligator in the pond." I'm like, well, those two aren't really related. I mean, technically they are genetically related, but that's different. And then my comment was, wait a minute, there's snakes in there. Can you promise that?
Yeah.
There were not. I looked in mine when I got home yesterday. There were no snakes in there. I was very let down.
There's nature in your nature.
We had someone last year, our clubhouse / playground / pool is right by two of the big ponds in the front. And one lady posted a picture of a diamondback water snake that was just basking in the sun in the evening. And she's like, "Who can we call to get rid of all these snakes?" And I'm like, "That snake belongs here more than you do."
Literally
So,
no one.
That snake's thinking, who can we call to get rid of these fucking humans?
Right. Exactly.
Can someone call that person real quick?
Well,
People don't
I went and did it-
understand that to get rid of the snakes, you have to get rid of the water supply.
Right.
Yeah. It's like it is a water
If-
snake.
If you would go ahead and just concrete everything
Yeah.
Yep.
and drain it dry, that'll
You
get rid
still
of it.
have snakes.
You still have rat snakes. They'd still show up.
I mean,
I had somebody ask me once if I was going to relocate the snakes from the lakes in our neighborhood. And I was
Mhm.
like, I will relocate them from your yard
To the lake.
the lake.
mhm.
And she's like, but what about the children? I'm like, what about the children?
The children are our future.
What the fuck
They're
have the
safer from that
children ever
snake than
done
they
for
are
me?
that cat running
So,
around.
Gina, let me ask: has anybody tried to surrender something to you that is wild caught? Like they caught it and they thought, "Oh no, this needs to be rescued,"
Probably a ton of red ear sliders.
and it just needs to go back to
Red
where
ear
it was.
sliders. I end up with so many of them. I get a lot of red ear sliders. I get Texas tortoises.
Oh, really?
Yep. But I'm permitted through the state, so anything I get in, I've got 48 hours to notify them if I get anything that's endangered or threatened. So, and then they know I have one here that has shell rot, and I had 8 of them last year at Texas tortoises until I was able to place them all.
I
I
want
get
to
'em
know
healthy.
where these people are finding them because I have never seen a Texas
They're,
tortoise.
they're
in the
right next
wild.
to the mud snake I can't find.
Yes.
Yeah.
Son
Yeah.
of a bitch. Probably the same
People
place
are
that racer
out
went.
traveling and they see it in the road and they think, oh, I'm going to take this because they think it's a pet,
Mhm.
and it's a Texas tortoise. And once it's in people's hands, it's not allowed to be released back into the wild. The Texas tortoises aren't.
Oh, that's crazy.
Really?
So they have to get
Wow.
somebody who has the permit for them.
Sucks.
So, and that's hard to find.
Yeah, because
Because
I mean,
when
I
I had 8 last
remember.
year,
Well, I remember
tough.
we talked previously. I think last year you had one that you were trying to find placement for, and I think didn't you say that just the paperwork process for them specifically is absolute hell?
It is for people to get the paperwork to get it set up to be able to keep them. But usually it's like there's a breeding program with Texas A&M. They've taken a bunch of mine. A turtle education group through another university's taken a bunch of them. But I have to make sure that when they go, I collect their state paperwork numbers. And then it's like anything that I release back into the wild, I have to turn in the paperwork on it, and I have to turn in the GPS location of where I released it as well.
All right, so I found my new goal.
That's my
Okay.
state paper. So anything that's released, I have to do that as well.
When I finally get a house here, not only do I need to get a house big enough so I can bring my tortoises from Louisiana over here, I want to get the paperwork done so that I can be a place where people are like, oh, we can't release these Texas tortoises, and I just want a giant pen of Texas tortoises in my backyard.
I mean,
They'll
if-
only let you have, I believe, 5. So after that, you're not allowed to take any more in.
Can we pretend
was
one
gonna
is a
say, I
Mexican tortoise and
know
one's a
there-
Louisiana tortoise?
well, there's a list. There's actually a list on Texas Parks and Wildlife. There's 2 separate lists. One is if you have 25 or more of the species in this document, you have to have certain permits. The other one is if you have 6 or more of these other species, you have to have a separate permit, and the 6 or more, those are like the threatened and endangered species in the state.
Yep.
So like indigos, your Texas tortoises,
You can't,
things like
unless
that.
you are in education, like the universities, you
Mm-hmm.
cannot get a permit for more than 5 Texas tortoises.
What a shame.
Yeah.
I want a whole army of them.
Because I've been dealing with this, and I know somebody who has a ton of land, and I used to pass my Texas tortoises on to her, and then she's like, they will not let me have more than 5. They will not change my permits to have more than 5. The universities can, but individuals.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, and then they also come and inspect you and stuff like that. So make sure everything's right.
Oh, another thing we didn't talk about. You posted this, and this we bring it up all the time when we talk about in the ID groups. Coral snakes. You posted a video of a coral snake.
Yes.
And there's always, you always get the post, someone posts,
Snake.
red on yellow kill a fella, red on black. And then there's the coral snake you just posted where it's mostly red.
Yeah.
Like,
And that was spotted in spring.
The video just popped up on my timeline again in a coral snake group. And of course, somebody's there. How do you know it's a coral snake and not a king snake?
What's crazy is the number of aberrant coral snakes out there. Like
Mhm.
that, to find like an albino corn snake or any of these other morphs and all, it's not that common. But there are a ton of aberrant coral snakes. I don't know what it is about them genetically, but you see it in all these groups just all the time. It's not like, oh man, one time a year. You'll see this, and you talked about the melanistic ones around here, and it's a crazy thing.
There were a lot of melanistic ones posted last year, more than I've seen in a while.
We have a pretty good population of them here in Brazoria County.
Not that I would know.
So I can't find them, but
see them.
Robert did post an awesome video, and everybody should go over to the discussion group and look at it. It's a mud snake eating an amphiuma.
Yeah, it's an eastern mud. That amphiuma looks huge.
It's a big amphiuma.
Yeah,
He's trying, man. I mean,
he gets it.
He gets it.
He's
determined. If no one's ever seen an amphiuma, it's a scary ass salamander. It looks like an eel. It's got little tiny legs in the front, but it's got fucking teeth. Like they're not.
Oh, they'll bite you, and it's like a perfect circle bite. And they take a chunk out when they bite you.
So it's like a leech bite.
No, well, yeah, but it's like this is gonna hurt.
There's something. Oh, what is?
You're thinking of a lamprey.
Yes,
but that's an open mouth. That's different.
That's what I was.
Lampreys.
It's not a rodent of unusual size.
Lampreys belong to a group of fish called agnatha, jawless fish. And so lampreys, their mouth is always open.
I'm guessing you guys saw that Carrie Elliott got bitten by.
We talked about it last week.
Yes, I was thrilled that he
got bit. That's fucked up.
No, I was thrilled that he made a Princess Bride reference.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
because it's just the greatest movie.
But yes, this mud snake eating this lamprey, eating this amphiuma is pretty cool. And then there was one that got posted yesterday by Will McCready, which was these dolphins fucking up this anaconda.
Yeah, big yellow anaconda.
Yeah, it's those Amazonian, like the pink dolphins, and then it's like 2 dolphins. Both are like, it's like Lady and the Tramping, this yellow anaconda in this picture, and they're just tearing it apart.
We got to meet Will a couple weeks ago.
We did. We met him over at the Beaumont show.
Yeah, he recognized Katie's voice.
She was very excited.
She was way too excited about that. I posted a picture today, someone of triplets. It was snake triplets hatching out of an egg.
Saw that.
You had 3 little python heads popping out of an egg. I've seen twins, but I have not seen triplets before.
Did you see the golden crown snake that I posted?
Yes,
I did, where it looks fake.
God. I thought it was fake. Apparently, it's real.
Yes, it does look like a bronze snake.
So
It looks like
sad.
I had an
that I
interesting
can't
phone
have
call
one.
from someone today. I'm not going to say who.
Okay.
They want to start breeding buttermilk racers.
That'd be cool.
And we discussed some custom enclosures and such, because they're they bask.
Yes.
So they need a basking light. But yeah,
They also move a lot.
yeah, it's going to be big. It's not going to have windows in it.
I love buttermilk. And like I said, one of my biggest regrets was Katie talking me out of keeping one. I caught a super calm, beautiful one just sitting in my driveway once. I pulled up to my house and there was a buttermilk racer just like right in the grass next to my driveway. I got out of my car, reached down, picked it up, and it was great.
Here's somebody that says, my husband found this snake at his job in northern Washington. Guess what it is?
What is it? Fucking rubber boa. Fuck this person. That person can go to hell. That person's not even looking for snakes.
Nope.
They're not looking for snakes.
Found a rubber
And they
boa.
just find a rubber boa.
Oh, my neighbor's just cat. I'm still mad about the racer in
Yeah?
my neighbor's yard.
Like literally like your next door neighbor?
She was in another section.
Oh, okay.
I think her house is up near one of the wooded areas. And I'm so irritated that I didn't like make my husband let me have a house on the water or up against the woods. He's like, you only want one of those lots so that we'll get snakes in our yard. I'm like, what is your point?
Yeah,
One of my
I
friends
failed to
just
see the
yes.
problem.
one of my friends just sent me a house for sale down near Brazoria. It's on 6 acres. The house is about 2,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, metal frame construction. It's got a 1 acre pond. The house sits at the pond, and the back porch goes over the pond.
Oh,
They only want $495,000 for it
where's it at?
in Brazoria. That's why.
I was gonna say nobody wants to live in
Right.
Brazoria.
Oh, I'd move out there in a heartbeat.
The problem is like it's really easy to flood when the water is at your back door.
So they said didn't flood during Harvey.
Really?
So
Oh, okay.
That's
That's literally the water
crazy.
line. That's
Yeah.
the mark. That's what we're going by.
That's the high water mark.
That's really
So guys, we're almost 2 hours in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, we
There was something else I was gonna say. I don't know what it was, but it's cool. Oh, Darren said I'd mentioned mud snakes. Then I've never seen one. I've never seen one alive, Darren, in the wild. I've seen a captive one in the captivity, obviously in captivity, and I've seen dead ones.
seen lots of people finding them lately.
The person
me.
the person we went herping with on Sunday
That one was
found
big.
one yesterday.
I saw the picture. That was huge.
And today he found a Western milk snake
Yeah,
You fucking kidding
under
me
a
right
piece
now?
of wood with a copperhead.
I hate people.
I know. I know. Well, there were 20 of us that went herping the other day, and we found like 5 snakes, and we were only able to put hands on 2 of them.
And all of them were little, like for the most part.
We didn't even find a fucking rat snake at that park. I was like,
Yeah,
at least find a rat
nothing.
snake.
No, nothing.
And someone's gonna go out in their garden tomorrow and find something amazing and post a picture. What is this thing? Well, did you see the one the Oklahoma group? Someone found a dead ball python.
Mm.
It was like a mummified ball python. Like, what's I found? We moved something out of the way and we found this. And they're like, someone's like, I think it's copperhead. Nope, that's a ball python. So,
Go freaking figure.
anyways, Gina, I'd say if people wanted to contact you, how would they? But I'm not sure if you want people to contact you.
Well, I'm always happy to talk to people or talk people through things, and if they need some help on how to take care of an animal, or if they're having issues, I'm more than happy to, talk them through it. Or I can hook them up with somebody if they have an animal that they need to find a home for. If I can't take it, I can try to hook them up with somebody who can help them.
Oh, that actually
We're this
reminds
big
me.
network, all of us.
Do you have any adoption events coming up in Houston that you're going to be doing?
I'm working with one of the Petsmart on what is it? I think it's in.
Is it the same one that your last one is at that location?
No, it's the one that's off of maybe Huffmeister or something.
Okay.
I was there before, but I don't know yet. And I'm going to be doing the Reptilian Nation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I talked to Sean and said, I'm desperate for trying to adopt some of these animals out. I post them on the Facebook page, but pretty much everybody on the Facebook page has already gotten stuff from me or has given me things. So I kind of feel like I flooded that market a little.
Yeah.
And so with 19 leopard geckos and 10 of them males all separated, and, it's like, hi. So.
And then you'll be at Conroe, of course.
I'll be at Conroe. And then, of course, I do Repticon as well because they give me free tables. So.
In the Conroe, you'll be same spot as the back corner, right?
I'm wherever Sean puts me. Wherever he puts me, I'm happy with.
She's been in the lobby the last couple times.
The lobby?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. You were in the lobby. I forgot he did move you in
Yes.
the lobby.
So I know he opened up and he did that back room, which is the first time he did that, and we were in front of that back room last time. So wherever he puts me, that's fine. I'm excited that I'm there. I get to see everybody, and I get the opportunity to adopt out animals, and people can get less expensive supplies from me.
Yes. So if you're looking for just a good pet, if you're not wanting to breed, not want to do that, and you just want a pet, this is a better route to go first
Mhm.
before you go to a table and buy from a breeder. There's nothing wrong with breeders. I breed stuff, but if someone's wanting a family pet, a classroom pet, this is definitely a far better route to go, and it gives an animal a home. And it helps Gina out because she only has 750 bearded dragons hanging out at her house.
Yep.
She
Yeah,
basically
I think I'm down to 14, but I think I have 3 more coming in. So
that is too many bearded dragons.
I don't think I have ever been to your house where you had less than 10 bearded dragons at any one time.
well, I didn't used to. I used to be able to adopt out, but the problem is I only have like 3 healthy bearded dragons. Everybody else has
Mhm.
health issues, and I'm working on fattening. Some of them just need fattening up. You know, I have one that can't use his back legs. I have another one that has seizures. I have one that's really, really old, and I syringe feed him. And he's still excited to eat when I stick a pinky mouse, frozen defrosted pinky mouse in his mouth. He eats it. And as long as he's eating, he's going to stay alive with me. He's kind of on hospice. You know, they all have something wrong with them.
Is MBD a very common thing you get? Is that probably the most
yes.
common?
I have a leopard gecko whose entire front legs are like this.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh.
Kinks in the spines, swollen faces. It's just messed
I've
up
had-
shells.
I've had this little guy for about 3 years.
Mm.
I was buying some snakes from a guy, and he's like, "Can you take this leopard gecko?" He's literally walking on his elbows.
Oh my God.
Dude, I named him Rocky because he's a fighter. That little dude he eats, he moves around. You know, I've gotten him a lot better,
Yeah.
but he's lost but all 4 feet are gone
Poor guy.
from shed getting stuck around him. So he walks on the nose, but you know, he doesn't seem like he's in any pain, or, you know, he stays in his hide most of the time, but man, you drop some mealworms or crickets or whatever in there, and
It's amazing how fast they can move. Like even technically, you know, disabled. It's amazing how fast they can move when there's food.
Well, I've always said that's the problem with reptiles. Is reptiles are a very hardy group of animals.
Mhm.
They can deal with a lot of bad stuff before they really can't handle it anymore. Unfortunately, that leads to them getting a lot of issues that, like not having feet and still being able to function. You know,
a lot of times you don't. I mean, one of those where you don't necessarily realize there's something wrong with them until it's like they're fine until they're not.
Yeah.
That's
So-
chameleons. Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially chameleons.
Yeah.
By the time you realize there's something wrong with a chameleon, it's like on death's door.
Every time you see somebody posting about a chameleon, like, he was fine yesterday. He really wasn't. You just didn't know what to look for.
Yeah.
That's one reason why I don't have chameleons, because they're just so damn fragile.
Couldn't pay me enough.
I've the only ones I've had. The last 2 I had were adults. Someone gave me a full-grown panther, and someone gave me a full-grown.
See Sean and them, they're in Hawaii, and they
the wild ones.
caught some Jacksons.
Yeah. Anyways, Robert, if you want to get a hold of you,
lsreptileracks.com.
that's it. It's fun to do.
I did it that time,
But
so you couldn't.
get your order in, get you a rack, get you a cage. I'm redoing my reptile room this summer, and I will be getting some more 4-foot cages for my reptile room.
We have our lead times way down right now.
Yeah, so go ahead and get you.
I don't want to say we're caught up, because I don't think you'll ever if you're busy, you're legit, you know, doing volume, you're never caught up. But man, I'm a lot better than I was a month ago.
And the shows have been pretty good for you, and then the weeks in between the shows have been pretty good for you. So go ahead and get your racks ordered. He'll get them to you. Megan, if you want to get a hold of you, if anybody around here needs to get a snake removed in Brazoria County,
on Facebook, either Northern Brazoria County Snake ID and Removal or Lone Star Snakes, and Lone Star Snakes on Instagram and TikTok. I am attempting TikTok videos.
You get a lot of engagement on TikTok.
Lone Star
that
Snakes.
should be interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Don't forget our giveaway from Crafty Gargoyles. We're giving away the Chameleon Mandala. Got all of May to get your picture in there of your membership to US ARC. If you don't have a membership to US ARC and you're listening to this podcast, what's wrong with you? Go get a membership to US ARC. They're cheap and they need the help. You should have one. If you like reptiles at all, there is no reason you should not have a membership.
If you have $5 a month, you can donate to US ARC.
Yeah, just one less coffee a month, you'll be fine. And this mandala, I'm telling you that you got to see it in person. The pictures don't do it justice. So get in there for that.
I honestly might just steal it.
No,
so.
I extended it an extra month just so I could have it on my wall an extra
Fine.
month.
You don't know where I live, so
I can find you.
Yeah, we actually do because you invited us.
Oh, that's
your
true.
house.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Never mind.
And the address is on there.
If you want to
Scratch
get if you want to get a hold of us, we are the Reptile Gumbo Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and at gmail.com. If you want to shoot us an email, I never say this, but give us a review on Apple Podcasts or on any of the podcasts. Give us a review, preferably a positive one.
Spotify.
But give us a review. Those always help get our stuff out there and people see us. So we'll be back next week. Gina, hang around 1 second. But
Okay.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody for listening. And good night.
Bye bye.